Chapter 851. Boom, boom. Two heaven-shaking waves of energy spread out, shaking the stars until they collapsed. The entire Zhou Tian star map shook violently, and the Tiandi bell and the sky-reaching mirror, as a suppressive existence, emitted surging power in an attempt to suppress this energy. Boom. The two treasures shook violently. After a long time, all the shaking calmed down. Qin Shujian waved his hand and put away the two treasures. Then he grabbed the Zhou Tian star map with one hand and carefully observed it. Only after confirming that there was no damage to it did he finally relax. Fortunately, the self-destruction of the two demon emperors did not damage the formation, otherwise it would have been a big loss. Qin Shujian breathed a long sigh of relief. In order to refine the Zhou Tian star map, he had used all his trump cards. If the treasures were damaged because of the self-destruction of the demon emperors, it would be a big joke. That kind of loss. Not to mention killing two demon emperors, even if he killed a few more, there would be no way to make up for it. Fortunately, after the Zhou Tian star map was refined, its level had already reached a terrifying level, comparable to the powerful 8th Tribulation Zubing. And whether it was Bach or Mo Xiala, they had already consumed a lot of energy when they self-destructed. Although the power that truly erupted was terrifying, it was not as terrifying as at its peak. Coupled with the suppression of the Tiandi bell and the sky-reaching mirror, it was only natural that he would be able to perfectly cancel out this fluctuation. Looking at the formation map in his hand, Qin Shujian's smile was obvious. The treasures had just been born, and he had already killed two demon emperors as a blood sacrifice. The effect of the heavenly cycle stellar map was exactly the same as he had imagined, almost exactly the same. Zhou Tian star map. Chu Kuangtu, who was holding the line, looked at the formation map in Qin Shujian's hand, and the expression in his eyes changed. I didn't expect that the former Zhou Tian star array would be refined by you. While speaking, he also looked emotional. Chu Kuangtu was also very familiar with the Zhou Tian star array that had been famous for several eras. There were two ways to set up a formation. One was to find enough powerhouses and then use the stars in the sky to set up the heavenly cycle star formation. However, such a formation could only be set up in a fixed position, and there was a huge requirement for the number of powerhouses. Later on, a world-shaking expert suddenly came up with the idea of simplifying the intricacies of Zhou Tian's great constellation formation without weakening its power. Therefore, Zhou Tian's star map came into being. However, there were only a few who could refine Zhou Tian's star map. Even Chu Kuangtu had never seen the real Zhou Tian star map. After all, refining the Zhou Tian star map was extremely difficult. In addition to the need for top-notch forging methods, the required materials were also a big problem. Since the Qin Emperor was able to refine Zhou Tian's star map, I'm afraid his forging skills are no weaker than the former Weapon Emperor. Chu Kuangtu sighed again. Compared to the Weapon Emperor, I'm still far behind. In the face of Chu Kuangtu's compliment, Qin Shujian shook his head. I was able to refine Zhou Tian's star map successfully because of the assistance of many top-notch materials. If the Weapon Emperor were to personally make a move, perhaps the Zhou Tian star map would be comparable to the 9 Tribulations Zubing. Having said that, Chu Kuangtu still looked emotional. It was easy to say. However, to achieve this step, one could imagine the difficulty. The 9 Tribulations Zubing was equivalent to an innate supreme treasure. Even if the Weapon Emperor were to make a move, he was not 100% sure that he could refine it successfully. Qin Shujian had now refined a supreme treasure comparable to the 8 Tribulations Zubing. To a certain extent, the other party's attainments in forging were no weaker than that of the Weapon Emperor. Even if there was still a gap, it would definitely not be too big. Boom! The void shattered, and a broken figure flew out. Then, a person stepped on the void and came forward. The person who came was Neodali. The one who flew out was Yervis. Up until now, Yervis had been completely beaten up by Neodali. He had no room to fight back at all. Without waiting for Neodali to make another move, Qin Shujian suddenly threw out the Zhou Tian star map. The formation map, which was originally 10 feet long, became bigger in the wind. Then, as if it had turned into a vast river, it directly smashed onto Yervis's body. That terrifying force instantly smashed Yervis's body into pieces. His body shattered. It turned into black fog and surged. The formation map suddenly swept back, pulling all the black fog into it. Suddenly, all the black fog disappeared. Qin Shu Jian held the formation map in one hand, and a bright crystal stone was left there quietly. Everything happened in a flash. By the time Niu Dali reacted, Yervis had completely fallen. Emperor Qin, it's not appropriate for you to do this. I'm about to kill him, but you're intercepting me now. That's not moral. Niu Dali was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. It wasn't easy for him to cripple Yervis, so he planned to play a little more before killing him. But he didn't expect Qin Shu Jian to directly attack and kill Yervis without any warning. Regarding this, Niu Dali was also very helpless. Qin Shu Jian took out the crystal stone from the formation map and directly threw it to Niu Dali. Don't waste time. After dealing with all the demon emperors, the Heavenly Court's army should be about to destroy the remaining void demons. I sense that there were some changes in those ancient stars. I'm afraid that some star beasts have broken out of the seal. Those star beasts are extraordinary. There might be a big battle later. As early as when Zhou Tian's star map appeared, Qin Shu Jian had already sensed the movements of the ancient stars through the connection between them. Because the formation map was refined from the corpse of a star beast, and it was mainly made of star cores. In some aspects, it was interconnected with the star beasts. So when Zhou Tian's star map appeared, those sleeping star beasts must have sensed it. Similarly, Qin Shu Jian also received the news of the changes in the ancient stars. This was the reason why he wanted to end the battle quickly. If he really wanted to delay. If those sleeping star beasts broke out of the seal and joined forces with the demon emperors to attack from both sides, then the possibility of them being defeated and killed was extremely high. Hearing this, Niu Dali's expression became solemn. He reached out and grabbed the crystal stone, then looked at the formation map in Qin Shu Jian's hand. The ancient stars are indeed troublesome. But is the formation map in your hand the legendary Zhou Tian star map? You should have seen it before. The last time I saw a Zhou Tian star map was many years ago. I didn't expect to see it again today. Niu Dali shook his head and then sighed. In the first era, he had seen Zhou Tian's star map. That was the real Zhou Tian star map. It used to be the formation eye of Zhou Tian's great star formation. The Zhou Tian star map that appeared later was a high-quality imitation of a supreme treasure. Of course, the function of such a supreme treasure was somewhat different from the Zhou Tian star map that was only the formation eye in the first era. It was hard to say which was stronger and which was weaker. Chapter 852. I'll have to trouble the two of you to go to the territory of the three great clans and help the Heavenly Court kill all the void demons. I need to rush back to the extraterritorial battlefield to prevent those star beasts from breaking out of the seal. Qin Shu Jian spoke quickly. Now that the demon emperors were all dead, the remaining strength of the three great clans should not be a match for the Heavenly Court. However, it was better to be safe than sorry. If the three great clans really had any backup plans, it might cause serious losses to the Heavenly Court. Until now, there were already many names on the god roll that had dimmed. Every dim name represented a fallen immortal god. What had to be clear was, the weakest immortal god in the Heavenly Court was between the second and third level of the immortal god realm. Many of them had fallen, so one could imagine what had happened to the other perfected immortals. Therefore, Qin Shu Jian asked Xu Guangtu and Niu Dali to hold the line. For no other reason. It was just to reduce the losses of the Heavenly Court and to 100% destroy all the void demons. The demon emperors were gone. Even if the three great clans had any backup plans, they would definitely not be able to threaten the two upper third level perfected immortals. Moreover, they were not simple upper third level perfected immortals. Hearing this, Niu Dali did not reply, but Xu Guangtu nodded. No problem. Thank you. Qin Shu Jian nodded, and then left. He did not give the coordinates of the three great clans to the two of them because there was no need. Now that the war had begun, there was no way to hide that strong fluctuation. As long as they searched carefully, they would be able to find it. After Qin Shujian left, Niu Dali and Chu Kuangta looked at each other. Neither of them paid attention to the other and turned to leave. On the other hand, there were a total of 3 Void Demon clans. They could go one each. If they were fast enough, they could destroy the first clan and rush to the second clan. In the outer realm, at this moment, the ancient stars were shaking. The remaining cultivators of the 10,000 clans who stayed behind were already waiting. As long as a star beast broke out of the seal, they would immediately retreat to the upper-class world. For this, they all packed everything they could bring.
Sigh.
The Thousand-Eye Emperor looked at the myriad race cultivators who had already packed up and were ready to retreat at any time. He also felt a little stifled. However, he was the one who gave the order, so there was nothing to say. However, when he looked at those ancient stars, the Thousand-Eye Emperor's already tightly knitted brows furrowed even tighter. His face was also filled with worry. He was the guardian of the alien battlefield. If the Star Beast were to appear and cause the destruction of the extraterritorial battlefield, he would not be able to shirk his responsibility no matter what. When the Heavenly Courts returned victorious from attacking the 3 great clans, they would find themselves in ruins. Speaking of which, it shouldn't be a problem for the Heavenly Court to attack the 3 great clans, right? Unknowingly, the thoughts in the Thousand-Eye Emperor's mind drifted back to the battle. 7 or 8 days had passed since the start of the battle.
Such a long time.
It was more or less enough to determine the winner. If the Heavenly Courts won, they would be able to return in a few days. Thinking of this, the Thousand-Eye Emperor's spirits were lifted. As long as he could hold on for a few more days until the Heavenly Court returned, everything would be fine. As for whether the Heavenly Courts would be defeated, he had never thought of this possibility. Because, in his eyes, although the Heavenly Courts could not completely crush the 3 great clans, they would definitely not be defeated. After all, if Qin Shujian was confident in giving the order to start the battle, he would definitely have some confidence. At any time, the leader of the battle would have enough confidence. Just as the Thousand-Eye Emperor's thoughts were running wild, a calm voice suddenly sounded in his ears. What happened? The familiar voice caused the Thousand-Eye Emperor to be shocked at first, then overjoyed. When he turned around, he happened to see a familiar green robe. Your humble servant greets the Emperor of Heaven. The Thousand-Eye Emperor bowed. His originally worried heart had completely calmed down. The Heavenly Court's army did not arrive, but the Emperor of Heaven had returned. In his eyes, Qin Shujian was much more important than all the experts of the Heavenly Courts combined. With his existence, then the Star Beast would no longer be a problem. After straightening up, the Thousand-Eye Emperor didn't dare to hide anything, reporting to the Celestial Emperor, a day ago, a galaxy suddenly appeared in the void. Following that, the ancient stars started to move. According to my guess, those star beasts are about to break out of their seal. However, the star beasts are too powerful, and I have no way to fight against them. Therefore, in order to prevent too many casualties from the birth of the star beasts, I ordered the cultivators of the 10,000 clans to gather and prepare to retreat at any time. At the end, the Thousand-Eye Emperor's expression was a little awkward. Retreat. To put it nicely, it was called a tactical shift. To put it bluntly, it was a retreat at the last minute and not fighting. Therefore, after he finished speaking, he secretly paid attention to the changes in the Emperor of Heaven's expression. After the Thousand-Eye Emperor finished speaking, Qin Shujian nodded his head, his expression calm. The birth of the Star Beast is indeed a big problem. You have done your best to organize the cultivators of the 10,000 clans to retreat. If you rashly fight the Star Beast to the death, it will only increase the casualties. Thank you for your understanding, Emperor of Heaven. The Thousand-Eye Emperor heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that he did not pursue the matter of him not fighting because of fear. Qin Shujian said, "Now that I have returned, there is no need to retreat. If the Star Beast breaks out of its seal, I will suppress it." After destroying the 3 great clans, The extraterritorial battlefield will be the foundation of our heavenly court's exploration of the extraterritorial battlefield. Unless it is absolutely necessary, we cannot give up easily. I understand. With you here, how can those star beasts run rampant? The Thousand-Eye Emperor bowed, then turned around and left. He spread the news that Qin Shujian had given him.
Soon.
The news that the Emperor of Heaven had returned spread in the extraterritorial battlefield. The originally nervous cultivators of the 10,000 clans immediately relaxed. The Emperor of Heaven is back. With the Emperor of Heaven back, the heavenly court must be flourishing. It seems that the 10,000 clans are going to unify the extraterritorial battlefield. Now that the Emperor of Heaven is guarding the extraterritorial battlefield, there is no need to worry about the small fries invading. That's right. Just as the Thousand-Eye Emperor had thought, Qin Shujian was now the absolute spiritual pillar in the eyes of the 10,000 clans. As long as he existed, there would be no problems. After spreading the news, the Thousand-Eye Emperor returned to Qin Shujian's side. Emperor of Heaven, your instructions have been completely conveyed. Now, the 10,000 clans in the extraterritorial battlefield are already aware of your return. After saying that, he looked at Qin Shujian with a curious expression. I wonder if the Emperor of Heaven has returned because the matter of the Void Demon has been completely resolved. Did our heavenly court achieve a great victory and destroy all 3 great clans? Chapter 853. Even the Emperor of Heaven had returned. Needless to say, the heavenly courts should have won a great victory. Although the Thousand-Eye Emperor was asking, he had a rough guess. All the demon emperors have been killed, and the remaining power of the 3 clans is no longer enough to fight against the heavenly courts. I believe that the army will return soon. Qin Shujian put his hands behind his back and said indifferently. The matter of the demon emperor being executed, when it came out of his mouth, it was also an understatement. However, in the Thousand-Eye Emperor's ears, it sounded like a sudden clap of thunder. Although he had already guessed it, when Qin Shujian really said it, he still couldn't help but be shocked. He said that again. The demon emperors were also powerhouses of the upper 3 perfected immortal realm. Moreover, the demon emperors of the 3 clans had existed for countless years, much longer than the ancient times. Therefore, the realm of those demon emperors was not something that ordinary upper 3 perfected immortals could compare to. However, such powerhouses had been killed by the Emperor of Heaven in front of him. All of a sudden, the Thousand-Eye Emperor's reverence for Qin Shujian deepened. He didn't know that the demon emperors had been killed with the help of other powerhouses, so Qin Shujian didn't explain too much about it. The reason was simple. With Zhou Tian's star map, if the previous battle were to happen again, even without the help of Chu Kuangtu and Niu Dali, he was 100% confident that he could kill all 4 demon emperors in one fell swoop. Therefore,
There was no need to explain.
with his current strength, Qin Shujian could say without exaggeration that there were almost no opponents below the Dao Fruit Realm. Even if it were the Sun Law and the Moon Law of the vast 1,000 domains, he was confident that he could suppress them. After all, his strength had already reached the peak of the 9th perfected immortal realm and was only 1 step away from the half-step Dao Fruit Realm. With the help of Zhou Tian's star map, he was not afraid of the half-step Dao Fruit Realm at all. The supreme treasure that was comparable to the 8 tribulations Zubing was not just for show. Moreover, the Zhou Tian star map was personally refined by Qin Shujian. Its compatibility was much higher than that of ordinary treasures. It was enough to perfectly display the power of the star map. In this way, it was even easier to deal with half-step Dao fruits. After a simple act, Qin Shujian suddenly felt a little bored. At his level, there was no joy in acting cool in front of a cultivator like the Thousand-Eye Emperor. Immediately, he waved his hand and said, "Go and handle your own matters. If there are any remaining void demons, don't let them enter the great 1,000 world. As for the rest, I will handle it." This subject will take his leave. The Thousand Eyes Emperor did not dare to refute and immediately bowed and retreated. After he left, Qin Shujian took a step forward and arrived in front of an ancient star. Due to the establishment of the extraterritorial battlefield, those ancient stars weren't located within the boundaries of the extraterritorial battlefield, but beside it. Pillars of light bombarded the heaven and earth barrier from every star. These pillars of light, they were the manifestation of the power of the stars, providing energy for the great thousand world. Looking at the huge star in front of him, Qin Shujian's expression was calm. Ancient stars are indeed incomparable to ordinary stars. After hundreds of millions of years of accumulation, the energy inside has almost reached an endless level. If there were no threat from the star beasts, these stars would be the best nourishment for the great thousand world, and the kind that can continue to develop. But now that there is a hidden danger from the star beasts, it is destined that there is no way for these ancient stars to survive. Whether the star beasts in the stars were in a state of hibernation or in a state of being sealed, there was no doubt that those star beasts had reached a critical point where they were about to break out of the seal. Once the star beasts broke out of the seal, the star would definitely be destroyed, and there would be no chance of survival. Qin Shujian guessed. The reason for the awakening of the star beasts was probably Zhou Tian's successful refinement of the star map. Of course, even without the influence of Zhou Tian's star map, those star beasts would break out of the seal and be born. The only difference was the sooner or later. 350 ancient stars. That is to say, there are at least 350 star beasts comparable to middle 3 true immortals. If all of them break out of the seal at the same time, even I will find it troublesome. Qin Shujian's expression changed as he secretly weighed the pros and cons. Although he could be called the strongest person below the Dao Fruit Realm, he had not crossed over to the Dao Fruit Realm. If he really had to face 350 middle 3 true immortals, it would definitely be a tough task. Not to mention, those star beasts that broke out of the seal could not be as simple as middle 3 true immortals. Some of them must be upper 3 true immortals. In that case, Qin Shujian felt that his strength was extraordinary, but in the face of such a force, he would have to kneel down. The star beasts are a hidden danger, and a hidden danger that is more powerful than the 3 major clans. To solve this hidden danger, I can't let the star beasts break out of the seal on their own. It's best if they break out of the seal under control. In this way, I can do my best to destroy them all. After making up his mind, Qin Shujian was ready to take the initiative to let some of the star beasts break out of the seal. Originally, the most suitable way was to set up a large formation to cover all the stars. Then, when a star beast came out, he would destroy it. But the problem was, ordinary formations could not deal with the star beasts. If he used Zhou Tian's star map to set up the Zhou Tian Great Star Formation, he might stimulate the star beasts inside. If all the star beasts broke out of the seal at the same time, Qin Shujian would have to think about how to escape in a more dignified way. Therefore, Zhou Tian's star map could not be used. However, even if I don't use Zhou Tian's star map, I think it won't be a problem to deal with some star beasts. Qin Shujian looked at the star in front of him, clenched his right fist, and suddenly punched out. Boom! His vital essence was vast and mighty, turning into a torrent of impact. In an instant, a fist the size of 1,000,000 feet directly shattered the void and landed heavily on the star. The terrifying power instantly caused the star to shake violently. The light pillars that were originally projected to the great wide world also disappeared at this moment. The entire star became dim, and there were cracks all over it. Such a commotion. It immediately attracted the attention of the cultivators in the extraterrestrial battlefield. Is there an expert attacking the star? That's the Emperor of Heaven. It's the Emperor of Heaven attacking the star. What's going on? Why is the Emperor of Heaven attacking the star? Most of the cultivators of the various clans looked puzzled. Even some of the players who had been resurrected were dumbfounded. They had no idea what Qin Shujian was doing by attacking the star for no reason. However, although they had doubts in their hearts, these people had no way to find someone to answer them. This was because matters related to the Emperor of Heaven's level were not something that ordinary people could understand. P.S. Public account, Fleeting White Horse. You can follow it if you like. Chapter 854. The Thousand Eyes Emperor, who was guarding the entrance of the passage, had a rough guess after seeing Qin Shu Jian attack the star. Could it be that the Emperor of Heaven attacked the star to release the Star Beast? Release the Star Beast. He vaguely thought of something. If it were him, the Thousand Eyes Emperor would not dare to do so because his strength was there. If he really encountered the Star Beast, he would most likely become its food.
Boom.
Boom. The ancient star was extremely hard. Even with Qin Shu Jian's current strength, there was no way he could break it with one punch. After throwing 3 punches with all his might, only then did the star abruptly burst apart. The star shattered. A fierce aura instantly erupted from inside. Then, a star beast that was 1,000,000 feet long appeared in everyone's sight like an ancient giant beast. Roars. The shocking roar was enough to shatter the galaxy. But all the cultivators who sensed the aura of the star beast changed their expressions drastically. Even the Thousand Eyes Emperor. At this moment, his expression was frighteningly ugly. This aura is definitely not as simple as a middle 3 true immortal. It was not that he had not seen a middle 3 true immortal before. In the previous 2 battles, there were also top demon emperors on the side of the void demons. The aura they revealed was completely different compared to the star beast in front of him. In this way, this meant that the star beast was at least an upper 3 true immortal. At this level, the Thousand Eyes Emperor was not qualified to guess much. He could only be sure that the star beast in front of him was an upper 3 true immortal, but he could not guess which realm it was in. 7th immortal. Or 8th immortal. It was possible that it was an extremely powerful 9th immortal. The moment the star beast appeared, the only person who could remain calm was Qin Shu Jian, who had broken the star. 8th immortal. The moment he saw the star beast, Qin Shu Jian sensed the other party's realm. If it was in the past, an 8th immortal star beast would naturally be troublesome. However, for him now, an 8th immortal was just SOSO. In his mind, the God Slayer said urgently, "Emperor of Heaven, leave it to me. As long as I kill it, I'll be able to pass the 6th tribulation." Ever since Zhou Tian's star map had appeared, he had been under a lot of pressure. At this moment, God Slayer, who was determined not to be a salted fish, was already determined to work hard. When he fought with the demon emperors earlier, the 2 demon emperors self-destructed in Zhou Tian's star map. They didn't give him a chance to pick up the scraps at all. So until now, he hadn't been able to gather the strength to transcend the 6th calamity. This 8th heaven immortal star beast gave Godslayer a glimmer of hope. As long as he killed the other party, then the probability of him transcending the tribulation would be 100%. Not only that, if he continued to kill other star beasts, he would immediately be able to transcend the 7th or even the 8th calamity. At the thought of this, Godslayer's petrified blade trembled slightly. There was no other way. If things really went as he expected, then this would be the spring of his life as Godslayer. Okay, I'll let you deal the final blow later. Qin Shu Jian nodded. It was a good thing that Godslayer could advance. Anyway, judging from the current situation, there were at least hundreds of star beasts waiting for him. There was absolutely no problem in helping the other party advance. At this time, after the star beast broke out of the seal and was born, it had completely awakened from its trance state. Qin Shu Jian, who was standing in front of it, instantly attracted its attention. Although compared to the star beast's 1,000,000 feet body, Qin Shu Jian's body was so small that it could be ignored. But in fact, the aura he deliberately leaked was more dazzling than the great solar furnace, so the star beast discovered his existence immediately. Boom! The 1,000,000 feet tall star beast's body suddenly moved, and a powerful fist blasted out. The surging blood chi and blood shook the void within 1,000,000 miles and shattered it. The moment the star beast attacked, Qin Shu Jian's eyes flickered.
Then,
he also punched out and collided with the star beast's fist. The 2 fists collided, and a destructive force erupted from the middle. Qin Shu Jian's body was as immovable as Mount Tai. The star beast, on the other hand, let out a pained roar. Its thick and strong arm was directly torn apart by this force. Blood flowed down like a galaxy. I've never been afraid of anyone when it comes to physical strength, Qin Shujian said with a smile. His body stepped forward as if he was taking a stroll. His right hand was already clenched into a fist again, and he attacked the star beast. As early as when the inner world was born, his physical body had undergone a transformation. Later, as the inner world improved step by step, the strength of his physical body also steadily increased. How strong was the inner world? How strong was Qin Shujian's physical body?
It could be said that
each of his punches contained the power of the entire inner world. In other words, the star beast lived by absorbing the power of the stars and did not cultivate the laws. It mainly focused on tempering its physical body so that its physical body was terrifyingly strong. Only then was it qualified to withstand Qin Shujian's attacks with its physical strength. If it were other 8th level celestials, if they did nothing and only relied on their physical body to withstand Qin Shujian's attacks, their physical body would have already collapsed, and they would have entered the state of blood rebirth. However, even so, an 8th level celestial star beast could not compete with Qin Shujian. After all, the star beast's greatest advantage was its physical body. Qin Shujian's greatest advantage was also his physical body. It was also his physical body that was his advantage. Against Qin Shujian, the star beast had already been crushed.
Boom. Boom.
Qin Shujian punched again and again. The star beast roared angrily and was beaten back step by step. Its million-feet-tall body broke through the void, and its powerful physical body was severely damaged. The blood in the star beast's body splashed and flowed in the void. Some of the blood flowed into the extraterritorial battlefield. Immediately, some cultivators could not hold back and went up to collect the star beast's blood. Everyone could see it. The star beast was definitely an extremely terrifying powerhouse. Although the other party was beaten up miserably by Qin Shujian and almost did not have any strength to fight back. However, one had to understand that the target of the star beast was the celestial emperor of the heavenly court, the supreme expert of the vast 1,000 domains. Not everyone was qualified to be beaten by the other party, and not everyone was qualified to be beaten to death for so long.
From this, it could be seen that
the strength of the star beast was not something that humans could compare to. How could the blood that flowed from such a terrifying existence be simple? However, the aftermath of the battle between the two was terrifying. Although they were envious, they did not dare to approach easily. However, now that the star beast's blood had taken the initiative to flow into the extraterritorial battlefield, there was nothing much to say. They had already gotten the treasure in front of them. If they did not take it, they would be fools. Not only the cultivators of the 10,000 races, but even the 1,000-Eye Emperor could not help but collect some of the star beast's blood. Chapter 855. His immortal essence surged. A large hand sucked some blood over. In the blood that was like a galaxy, there was still an inextinguishable beast roar that shook one's mind. The blood of an upper 3 levels true immortal is indeed extraordinary. The 1,000-Eye Emperor's eyes flickered. Just by looking at the blood, one could tell how strong the astral beast was. The blood in front of him. To ordinary cultivators, it was both a treasure and a deadly poison. Because not every cultivator was qualified to touch the blood of an upper 3 levels true immortal. Normally, just a drop of blood would be enough to kill a heavenly being.
But
for experts with enough strength, the blood of an upper 3 levels true immortal was an absolute treasure. Whether it was used for refining pills, refining weapons, or even swallowing it to temper the body, it could be used to great effect. It could be said that adding a drop of blood of an upper 3 levels true immortal could increase the power of anything. Now that the blood was sealed, there was an angry roar that shook the immortal essence nonstop. Seeing this, the 1,000-Eye Emperor immediately increased the seal. Just the blood of a star beast. How dare you be so rampant? He sneered. If it was a star beast at its peak, the 1,000-Eye Emperor would definitely not dare to make a move. But some star beast blood was not enough to cause any big waves in front of him. Because no matter what, The Thousand-Eye Emperor was also a third-level true immortal. Although a third-level true immortal was in the lower 3 levels, it was not a big problem to suppress the Star Beast blood. After suppressing the Star Beast blood, the blood seemed to have sensed something and began to struggle violently, but it did not have any effect. In the end, the Thousand-Eye Emperor wrapped the blood with his immortal essence and then took out a porcelain bottle and directly put it in. As soon as the blood fell into the porcelain bottle, countless cracks appeared on the white jade-like porcelain bottle, and it almost broke on the spot.
Seeing this,
he used his immortal essence and set up many restrictions on it before completely suppressing the Star Beast blood. After suppressing the Star Beast blood, the Thousand-Eye Emperor put the porcelain bottle into his sleeve and then continued to absorb more Star Beast blood. Like before, he took out another jade bottle and collected the blood. These jade bottles were used to store pills in the past. In fact, to be able to be used by a true immortal, the jade bottle itself was not low grade. Although it was not a Dao artifact, it was more powerful than ordinary Dao artifacts, not to mention anything else. Just the presence of a true immortal's aura day and night was enough to improve the quality of the jade bottle. However, a jade bottle of this level simply did not have the qualifications to contain the blood of a Star Beast. If it wasn't for the Thousand-Eye Emperor's immortal elemental energy seal, the jade bottle would have shattered the moment the blood touched it. After collecting several jade bottles in a row, he finally stopped. It wasn't that the Thousand-Eye Emperor didn't want to continue collecting, but that there weren't enough jade bottles in his hands. Seeing that there was still quite a lot of blood, he suddenly hated himself for not preparing more jade bottles. He had to watch the Star Beast's blood flow out like this. That kind of feeling was quite painful. Next time when I go out, I must bring more jade bottles. The Thousand-Eyes Emperor stopped. However, the other cultivators did not stop there. Many cultivators had no way of collecting the blood of Star Beasts, or even getting close to them. However, there were still some cultivators who had various means to collect the Star Beast's blood. At this moment, the war was nearing its end. The Star Beast that had broken out of its seal still couldn't understand how the person in front of it could be so powerful that it couldn't even fight back. Countless years of slumber had made its strength terrifyingly tyrannical. However, even so, it couldn't contend against the person in front of it. Boom! With another punch, the Star Beast's body fell, smashing the void into pieces. At this moment, no matter how warlike the Star Beast was, it couldn't help but feel fear. It wanted to escape into the void without looking back. However, it had just escaped when Qin Shujian condensed a true essence giant hand and forcefully pulled the Star Beast back.
then,
The long-awaited Godslayer appeared. A biting cold saber light broke through the Star Beast's head, and a murderous aura erupted, destroying the remaining consciousness of the Star Beast. In the end, the Star Beast's million-feet body lay powerlessly in the void. The Godslayer was stuck in the Star Beast's head, constantly absorbing the Star Beast's energy. At the same time, Qin Shujian came to the Star Beast's heart and dug out the star core inside. Compared to other star cores, the star core of the Star Beast in front of him was much stronger. Immediately, he took out the Heavenly Cycle Star Map and fused the star nucleus into it. Instantly, the Heavenly Cycle Star Map flashed and disappeared. The already powerful aura became even more intense. When all the star cores of the Star Beasts are integrated into Zhou Tian Star Map, it should be able to break through from the level of 8 tribulations Zubing to 9 tribulations Zubing. There was a faint smile on Qin Shujian's face. The success of Zhou Tian's star map didn't mean that this treasure would stay at its current stage. On the contrary, in fact, the formation map had room for improvement. As long as enough star cores were collected and integrated into the formation map, it could cause the formation map to transform. However, Zhou Tian's star map was now at the level of 8 tribulations Zubing. It wasn't easy for it to transform. According to Qin Shujian's estimation, only when all the star cores of the Star Beasts were integrated could it be possible to upgrade to 9 tribulations Zubing. Moreover, this was the only possibility. In other words, It wasn't 100% possible for it to transform. After all, 9 Tribulations Zubing was already at the peak of the era. It was comparable to the innate treasures of other eras and involved the level of Dao fruit. As for the treasures that surpassed 9 Tribulations Zubing, in theory they existed. But theory was theory. Whether they existed in reality was still a problem. In other words, even if the treasures that surpassed 9 Tribulations Zubing did exist, it wasn't so easy to create them. For several eras, there hadn't been any treasures of such level. After accommodating the star cores, Qin Shu Jian put away Zhou Tian's star map and then set his eyes on the star beast's corpse. The god slayer was still absorbing energy. The star beast's corpse was obviously shriveled. It seemed that a lot of the blood inside had been absorbed. A powerful aura was looming on the long blade. Rumble. Thunder exploded in the sky. A tribulation cloud had already quietly gathered in the sky at some point in time. This was the second tribulation cloud that had appeared in the void outside the domain since Zhou Tian's star map transcended the tribulation. From the moment the tribulation cloud appeared, it had already proved that the Godslayer's foundation had been raised to the extreme, and he had to start the 6th tribulation.
Soon.
The stone blade flew up from the star beast's corpse. Emperor of Heaven, I'm going to a farther place to transcend the tribulation, so as not to cause other unforeseen events.
Go.
Qin Shu Jian nodded. P.S. Support the original Qidian Chinese network app, Qidian Reading. I'm really decent. Chapter 856. Rumble. Lightning bolts fell from the sky and struck the stone saber hard. Lightning splattered everywhere. But the stone saber remained unmoved, showing no signs of damage. That wasn't all. When the next lightning bolt was about to strike, Godslayer leaped into the air and slashed out a huge energy saber toward the tribulation cloud.
Boom.
Zubing's tribulation was naturally unparalleled. Qin Shu Jian stood in the distance and observed, not attacking the other stars for the time being. He had the deceiving technique. In his opinion, Godslayer's foundation had already reached an unimaginable level. Although he was only a 5 Tribulation Zubing, he was no weaker than a 6 Tribulation Zubing. Naturally, there wouldn't be any problem for him to transcend the 6th Lightning Tribulation. As long as he succeeded in breaking through, then he could become a top 6 Tribulation Zubing in one go. When that time came, even Tiandi Bell and the Heavenspan mirror couldn't suppress Godslayer. Unfortunately, the deceiving technique has its limits. At most, it'll be useful during the 7th tribulation. But after that, it won't be very useful. Qin Shu Jian thought to himself. To put it bluntly, the deceiving technique was to deceive the laws so that they couldn't detect Zubing's existence. But there were limits to this method. If something was powerful to a certain extent, then even the deceiving technique wouldn't be able to conceal it. Zubing below the 7 tribulation wasn't that powerful. But once Zubing stood at the 7 tribulation level, it would be completely different. 7 tribulation Zubing. If he was regarded as a cultivator, he was already comparable to a 9th heaven immortal. An 8 tribulation Zubing could step into the half-step Dao fruit level. As for a 9 tribulation Zubing, he was officially involved in the Dao fruit level.
So,
once Zubing entered the 7 tribulation level, even the deceiving technique wouldn't be able to conceal him. Because such a divine weapon was too powerful. But only such a powerful divine weapon. Only then would it work on him. Just as Qin Shu Jian was deep in thought, the Godslayer's tribulation was coming to an end. With the help of the heaven-deceiving technique, tribulation transcendence was something that was more frightening than dangerous. Ordinary Zubing could only silently endure the lightning tribulation. When the lightning tribulation dissipated, he would naturally succeed. However, Godslayer's method of transcending the tribulation was different. Because of the existence of the heaven-deceiving technique, he had accumulated even more power. Therefore, when the lightning tribulation descended, there was no need to silently endure the attacks of the lightning tribulation. Instead, they could fight back and shatter the tribulation clouds. Anyway, no matter what, as long as the tribulation clouds were gone, the tribulation would be over. The current Godslayer was using such a method to transcend his tribulation. When the lightning struck, a saber force shot up into the sky, destroying all the lightning. Not only that, but the Godslayer also charged into the tribulation clouds and fought the heavenly tribulation in close combat. Rumble, a vast and mighty aura swept through the outer realm. It was only because the Godslayer was a distance away from the tribulation that he was not noticed by the cultivators of the 10,000 races in the outer realm battlefield. But for perfected immortals, such fluctuations were still throbbing. Not long after, the tribulation clouds dispersed. The Godslayer broke through the tribulation clouds and arrived in front of Qin Shujian. I succeeded in transcending the tribulation. These few simple words could not hide his joy. Never would he have imagined that he, who had been stuck at the level of a fourth tribulation ancestral armament for over 1,000,000 years, would be able to make a breakthrough to the level of a sixth tribulation ancestral armament in a short 20 years or so. The more he broke through, the more Godslayer understood the usefulness of the heaven-deceiving technique. He also understood, if it were not for Qin Shujian, it would not have been so easy for him to break through to the sixth tribulation Zubing. Now, he had successfully broken through. The Godslayer believed that apart from Zhou Tian's star map, he was not inferior to other supreme treasures. However, he was still a little lacking if he wanted to suppress the Heavenly Mirror and the Tiandi Bell. At most, he was on equal footing. Qin Shujian nodded. It's good that you succeeded in breaking through. The heaven-deceiving technique can still be used now. The remaining star beasts should be more than enough to push you to the seventh tribulation Zubing. After the seventh tribulation, whether you can transcend the eighth tribulation or not will depend on yourself. There was no heaven-deceiving technique. The risk of Zubing transcending the eighth tribulation would increase exponentially. Qin Shujian was not sure that the Godslayer would succeed in breaking through. Hearing this, the Godslayer was silent for a moment before he said, I'll transcend the seventh tribulation first. I'll think about the rest after I succeed. He did not have a 100% chance of transcending the tribulation. Speaking of which, the Godslayer had never thought that he would consider transcending the eighth tribulation one day. After all, 20 years ago, he was only a fourth tribulation Zubing. He didn't even have a chance to transcend the fifth tribulation, let alone the others. Seeing this, Qin Shujian did not say anything. He began to walk toward the next star. Shattering a star only meant getting rid of one astral beast. Judging from the situation of the star riot, it would not be long before the other star beasts broke out of the seal. Therefore, he had to get rid of all the star beasts as soon as possible. Or else, if all the star beasts broke out of the seal, the heavenly court would have to give up the outer space that they had just conquered. Among other things. For example, as long as there were a dozen or 20 more star beasts at the 8th level of Immortal, Qin Shujian would have to turn around and run away. He did not believe that there were not a dozen or 20 star beasts at the 8th level of Immortal in more than 300 stars. An optimistic estimate. There were at least 1/10 of the star beasts at the upper 3 levels of Immortal. 1/10 alone. There were more than 30 of them. Among these star beasts at the upper 3 levels of Immortal, there might be some stronger than the 8th level of Immortal. Not to mention the 9th level of Immortal, even the half-step Dao fruit might exist. Of course, the Dao fruit was impossible. But even the threat that he could guess was enough to make Qin Shujian make up his mind to eradicate all the star beasts. He did not have the strength in the past. But now he wanted to get rid of the root of the problem. He clenched his fist. He punched out. The vacuum was destroyed. The star trembled violently. Its originally bright color quickly dimmed. Countless cracks appeared on it. He punched 3 times in a row. A star shattered. The moment the star shattered, a star beast about the same size as the previous one broke out of the seal. Although it was also 1,000,000 feet tall, the aura it had was completely different from that of the previous star beast. A 5th level of Immortals? Qin Shujian raised his eyebrows slightly. Then he held the Godslayer and slashed down. In an instant, the newly born star beast did not even have time to react before it was dismembered. All the blood on the corpse was absorbed by the Godslayer. At the same time, a star core was picked out by the long saber. Qin Shujin reached out and grabbed it, casually throwing it into Zhou Tian's star map. A fifth level of immortal star beast. In front of a powerhouse who could rival a half-step Dao fruit, although it was not an ant, it was the kind that could be killed with a single slash.
Then,
Qin Shujin targeted the next star and launched another attack. Chapter 857. When Qin Shujin was frequently destroying stars and killing star beasts. In the depths of the void, the battle was almost coming to an end. After the Yizhou clan was destroyed, the Dog Emperor and Si Hanhai led the Heavenly Court's army to attack the other two clans.
at the same time,
The fall of Baido and Mo Shalua led to the complete collapse of the two clans. Originally, there was a gap between the middle three true immortals of the Void Demons and the Heavenly Court. It was just that the number of Demon King-level powerhouses was not good, so this gap was pulled back. But with the fall of the Demon Emperor, many of the Void Demons lost their minds. Suddenly, they fell into a disadvantage. Then, with the help of Chu Kuangtu and Niu Dali, the remaining clans of the Void Demons completely fell into a state of collapse. Boom! A streak of cold light, which seemed to be the beginning of the world, pierced through the dull darkness of the void and split the entire continent, which was tens of thousands of miles wide, into two halves. Countless Void Demons died in the saber light. No. Ively let out his last scream. He, the newly promoted Demon Emperor, had completely fallen and died before he could warm up his seat. Facing the powerful Chu Kuangtu, Ively, who had just broken through, was not qualified to compete at all. Even someone as strong as Longfellow was seriously injured and on the verge of death by this saber strike. If it weren't for the other Void Demons as a buffer, and if Chu Kuangtu's target was not him, he would have already died in the saber light. At this moment, the continent collapsed and separated. A large number of Void Demons died. The remaining Void Demons were all in a daze. They were so shocked that their bodies could not move. Not only that, even the Heavenly Court's army and the cultivators of the 10,000 clans were now shocked by Chu Kuangtu. Hiss! Some immortals and gods gasped. Looking at the continent that was separated into two halves, they seemed to have seen a terrifying existence. Even that inextinguishable saber chi made him feel like he was about to die. Strong. Terrifyingly strong. As an immortal god of the Heavenly Court, he was also aware of Chu Kuangtu's existence, but he never thought that the other party's strength had reached such a terrifying level. With just one saber strike, the territory of the Mo Shalua clan was destroyed. That continent was almost the size of a greater kiliocosm and half the size of a continent. But even so, however, he was still unable to block the other party's saber. At this moment, Chu Kuangtu casually swung his saber again and killed Longfellow. After the other party died, a resplendent crystal fell from the ground, and he casually kept it. The crystal of a top-notch demon emperor. For Chu Kuangtu, it was also somewhat useful. Of course, compared with the crystal of the devil emperor, it was incomparable. The Qin monarch has given the order to exterminate all the demons in the void. Now that I have killed all the devil emperors, I will leave the rest to your heavenly court. After Chu Kuangtu put away the crystal, he had no intention of making a move. Killing the demon emperor was already the best he could do. Others, let the heavenly courts handle it themselves. After all, the heavenly court was the main force in attacking the void demons. Chu Kuangtu's help was only to clear some obstacles. Now that the devil emperor was gone, only a few devil kings were left. If the heavenly court couldn't even deal with this, then there was no need for it to exist. The soul-protecting emperor nodded. Thank you for killing the two demon emperors. Leave the rest to the heavenly court. After saying that, he looked at the rest of the immortals and deities of the heavenly court with a cold expression. Go all out and kill all the demons in the void. Don't let any of them escape, otherwise you will be severely punished. After this battle, the Emperor of Heaven will reward you according to your merits. Yes. Hearing the order of the soul-protecting emperor, The rest of the immortals and deities looked excited. This battle could be said to be a great victory for the heavenly court. Since it was a great victory, it was necessary to reward them according to their contributions. One only needed to think briefly to understand what kind of rewards the heavenly court would give. There was no need to say anything else. It would definitely satisfy the others. After receiving the order, those cultivators who were in a daze quickly came to their senses and then pounced on the remaining demons in the void. Chu Kuangtu's saber strike not only killed all the demon emperors, but also almost all the devil kings and a large number of demons in the void. The remaining demons who were still alive were all injured. All of them were injured, and their strength was not at their peak at all. Moreover, all the demon emperors and demon emperors had fallen, and even the clan territory had been divided into two by the powerhouses. The remaining demons had lost their spirit, and their strength had been greatly reduced. Of course, not all of the fiendish void demons were willing to resign themselves to their fate. Some demons in the void were forced into a desperate situation. Not only did they not wait for death, but they also resolutely self-destructed. The power of any cultivator's self-destruction was difficult to resist. For a moment, many cultivators of the myriad clans who did not pay attention were killed or injured. Seeing this, those cultivators who had been careless immediately straightened their attitude and killed the demons in the void. There are powerhouses approaching. The soul-protecting emperor and the demon emperor who were supervising the battle looked at each other and immediately took a step forward, walking out of the clan. In their perception, there were two tyrannical auras rapidly approaching. The two auras were full of blood and killing intent. For a moment, they did not dare to be sure of their origin. When the two of them flew out, they happened to see powerhouses approaching. Emperor South Flame, Emperor North Sea, Emperor East Sun, Emperor West Spirit. The soul-protecting emperor and the demon emperor were stunned. They did not expect that the people who came would be their own people. After all, the auras emitted by the two of them did not feel familiar.
Soon,
they came back to their senses. Since the two of you came at this time, could it be that the Yizo clan has been dealt with? The soul-protecting emperor asked. Hearing this, the dog emperor nodded. That's right. The Yizo clan has been destroyed. We are bringing people to support them. The Heavenly Court's army is behind us. They will arrive soon. After destroying the Yizo clan, they immediately rushed towards the Mo Xia Luo clan. In order to prevent any accidents, the two of them did not even wait for the Heavenly Court's army. They rushed there first in order to support the Demon Emperor and the others as soon as possible. I wonder how the battle is now. Si Hanhai asked immediately. The powerhouses invited by the Emperor of Heaven have arrived and killed all the Demon Emperors. Currently, the cultivators of the Heavenly Court and the myriad clans are besieging the remaining demons. The outcome has been decided. Speaking of the occupation, the Demon Emperor was also smiling. In this battle,
it was too easy for them.
Although there was some pressure in the front, the situation was not out of their control. With the support of Chu Kuangtu behind them, the Mo Xia Luo clan was completely defeated. It was just that he thought that they would be the first team to destroy the clan. But now it seemed. The Dog Emperor and the others moved even faster. Chapter 858. In less than half a day, the Mo's Halo clan had been destroyed. The army that destroyed the Yizo clan had just arrived when they saw someone cleaning the battlefield. The Mo's Halo clan has been destroyed. Only the Baido clan is left, the Demon Emperor said in a deep voice as he looked at the many cultivators cleaning the battlefield. Emperor Zhongyuan and the others are very powerful. The Baido clan is no match for them. Perhaps they have already wiped out the Baido clan. That's hard to say. The Dog Emperor shook his head. Although the Baido clan was the strongest of the three clans, the team that attacked the Heavenly Court was also the strongest of the three. There was Emperor Zhongyuan, the leader of the 5 great imperial emperors, and the Eastern God of War, the leader of the 4 great war gods. Seriously speaking, although Xiao Qingfeng was the 4 great war gods, in terms of strength, the 5 great imperial emperors, except for Emperor Zhongyuan, did not have the confidence to fight against him. Therefore, in his opinion, such a force was enough to deal with the Baido clan. At this moment, Chu Kuangtu also said, "The Green Bull has already gone over. As long as the Baido clan doesn't have a demon emperor level backup, it's time to end the battle." After saying that, he added another sentence. "The Green Bull's strength is not bad. Except for 9th level immortals, he can kill 7th level immortals and rival 8th level immortals." After hearing Chu Kuangtu's words, they were relieved. Obviously, Niodali's realm had also reached a level they did not expect, killing 7th level immortals and rivaling 8th level immortals. It could be said that such strength was enough to rank in the top 3 in the Heavenly Court. Needless to say, the first was definitely Qin Shujian. As for the second and third, it was Chu Kuangtu in front of them and Niodali, who was in the Baido clan. Soon, the battlefield was cleaned up. After a discussion, the emperors decided to lead the team to the Baido clan. According to Chu Kuangtu, the Baido clan should not have any problems at the moment. However, it was better to be safe than sorry. Anyway, the Yizo clan and the Mo's Halo clan had been destroyed, so it was not a big deal to bring people to the Baido clan. The two armies converged, gathering a large number of cultivators and majestically headed toward the Baido clan. Needless to say, there was no need to mention the cultivators of the myriad races. However, things were different for the players. A portion of the players decided to head to the Bardo clan, while the rest decided to return to the battlefield. Regarding this, the Dog Emperor and the others did not stop him. In their eyes, the Inhumans were nothing more than cannon fodder. At the start of the war, standing at the front could reduce the number of casualties, but in reality, it was not of much use. Now that the outcome of the battle was almost certain, the existence of the Inhumans was no longer necessary. In such a situation, if the other party wanted to leave, they couldn't be bothered. The Maxiaro clan was quite a distance away from the Baido clan. When they were halfway there, they happened to run into the Heavenly Court's troops that had just exterminated the Baido clan and were heading towards the Mashiluo clan. When the two teams met, they both stopped at the same time. Emperor Zhongyuan, looking at the Zhao King, the Dog King asked, "Has the Bardo clan been destroyed?" "Not bad." Zhao King nodded slightly. "With Brother Ox's help, the Bardo clan has been destroyed. I originally wanted to rush to the Maxiaro clan to help, but now it seems that there's no need." He didn't expect the other two clans to be destroyed so quickly. However, although he was a little surprised, many things were reasonable. After the two teams met up, Zhao King said, "Now that the 3 clans have been destroyed, there might be other void demons wandering in the void. Therefore, I think we should send some experts to explore the void. This time, we must eliminate all the void demons. We can't leave any behind. Otherwise, even if a centipede dies but doesn't fall down, it will still cause us great trouble in the future." Now that the 3 clans had been destroyed, many of the protective facilities in the battlefield would be removed as time passed. After all, those measures were to prevent the void evil demons from consuming a large amount of resources at every moment. Since the void demons had been destroyed, these resources would be avoided as much as possible. As a result, if there were still void demons left, they might take this opportunity to sneak into the myriad clans. At that time, it might cause some unpredictable trouble. Therefore, it was necessary to take this opportunity to eliminate all the void demons in one fell swoop. That's fine. Anyway, most of the void demons experts have fallen. Even if there are some who escaped, I believe they won't be too strong. As long as we find them, we can kill them all. The others also nodded. The outer realm was not big, but it was not small either. However, if the myriad clans really spread out their power without restraint, they would definitely be able to make the void demons have nowhere to hide. As a result, it was only a matter of time before they completely eliminated the void demons. After making a decision, the imperial emperors of the 5 directions immediately summoned a group of myriad clans cultivators at the true immortal realm. There were more than 200 of them. You guys explore the outer realm and find all the void demons that have escaped. You must kill them all. The time limit is 3 years. You must return within 3 years. After saying that, Among the imperial emperors of the 5 directions, Emperor Zhao took out another oil lamp and said indifferently, "Put a wisp of your divine soul in it and ignite the soul fire. If you encounter the void demons and unfortunately die, we will know in time. In addition, you are not allowed to enter the demon abyss without permission. Otherwise, no one will be able to save you." "We understand." The cultivators of the myriad clans looked at each other and then nodded in response.
Then,
They each sent out a wisp of their spirit and placed it on the oil lamp. The oil lamp, which was originally unlit, had already ignited when their spirits landed on it. However, the color of the flame was different from the normal color. It showed a 7-colored scene. If one looked carefully, they would be able to see that in the 7-colored flame, there were human faces that appeared one after another, matching the cultivators who had split their divine souls. After everyone placed a wisp of their divine soul into the soul lamp, Emperor Zhao put away the soul lamp.
"You guys can go now." "Yes."
Many cultivators bowed and accepted the order. Then they led a group of cultivators and left. Emperor Zhao's expression did not change as he watched the cultivators leave. The cultivators who led the group. They were all true immortals of the myriad clans. With them leading the group, even if they encountered a powerful void demon, they would be able to deal with it. The remaining cultivators who left with the group were also in the Almighty Realm. Moreover, 200 true immortals represented 200 teams. 3 years was enough for them to explore the outer realm. In this way, it was basically guaranteed that nothing would go wrong. After these people left, Emperor Zhao gathered the army and rushed back to the outer realm battlefield. P.S. The new book, Human Guardians, can be collected. The old book will be updated as usual. There are no changes. Chapter 859. Outside the extraterritorial battlefield. The stars shattered, and the battle did not stop for a moment. That vast fluctuation almost covered the entire extraterritorial battlefield. The cultivators of the myriad races there were trembling, but their eyes were shining, waiting for the opportunity to pick up the scraps. Their way of picking up scraps was naturally not to rush up and snatch the kill. Not to mention anything else. Just talking about star beasts of that level, even if they were seriously injured and on the verge of death, with only a trace of blood left, they were not something that these cultivators who were not even true immortals could kill. Not to mention, picking up scraps in front of Qin Shujian was even more terrifying than snatching food from a tiger's mouth. So, the way the cultivators of the myriad races picked up scraps was to wait for the star beast blood to flow over, and then take the opportunity to collect some. The Emperor of Heaven is killing star beasts. What a powerful aura. The level of these star beasts is probably not low. Some of the players who had returned from the 3 clans gasped when they saw the scene. He originally thought that when he returned to the extraterritorial battlefield, it would be peaceful for a period of time. In the end, as soon as he returned, he saw the Emperor of Heaven of the Heavenly Court killing star beasts. That terrifying power was much stronger than when the Heavenly Court fought with the 3 great clans. Star beast blood. Fu Moyan looked at the star beast blood flowing over, and his eyes flickered. "Senior, would the blood of these star beasts be of great help to one's cultivation?" "That's right." The incarnation of the Emperor of Heaven in his sea of consciousness, which was also Qin Yi, nodded and replied, "The star beast blood is incomparably powerful. If it can be diluted and used to temper the body, it can greatly improve the breakthrough. You cultivate the purple heaven divine thunder scripture, and in the future, you will also walk the path of the physical sanctification realm. The star beast blood is also a supreme treasure for you. Then is there a way to collect it?" Fu Moyan's eyes lit up as he asked in his heart. He rarely returned to the great wide world now. Most of the time, he was in the great wide world to complete the missions given by Qin Shujian. Until now, Fu Moyan couldn't even remember how many unlucky bastards he had killed. In any case, under Qin Yi's guidance, his strength had increased steadily. He had broken through from the true martial realm to the spirit martial realm. Moreover, his own realm was not as simple as just entering the spirit martial realm. However, even with Qin Yi's guidance, his talent was limited. After advancing to the spirit martial realm, his cultivation speed slowed down. There was only one way to improve as quickly as before. It was to enter the greater thousand world, raise one's level here, and then nourish oneself in the real world. At this moment, Fu Moyan in the great thousand worlds, he was still at the peak of the divine martial realm and had not yet broken through to the celestial being realm. The purpose of his return this time was to raise his rank. Hearing this, Qin Yi said, "Collecting Star Beast's blood is neither easy nor difficult. As long as you can raise your strength to the peak of the Sky Man, or even the level of a true immortal, you'll be able to do it." At that time, he would be able to suppress the astral beast blood with his own strength. On the other hand, if you're not strong enough and forcefully come into contact with the astral beast blood, you'll only be killed by it. The astral beasts sealed in those ancient stars are at least at the middle 3 true immortals, and the strong ones are comparable to the upper 3 true immortals. They're much stronger than you think. Hearing this, Fu Moyan's face darkened. After talking for so long, it was as if she hadn't said anything. What she meant was that if he went up to collect the astral beast blood with his strength, he would die. There would be no other outcome. She seemed to have sensed Fu Moyan's thoughts. Qin Yi thought for a moment and comforted him. "Actually, you don't have to collect the astral beast blood yourself. Seeing that you've worked so hard during this period of time, you can make a trip to the heavenly court after you're done. I believe that there will be some astral beast blood left in my original body. At that time, I'll give you some. What you need to do now is to exchange all the resources you have on you for things that can increase your strength. You don't have to worry about the rest." Senior's words are reasonable. Fu Moyan nodded. After Qin Yi's reminder, he suddenly realized something. The existence in his mind was the incarnation of the Emperor of Heaven. The Emperor of Heaven was also the strongest person in the great thousand world. As long as he served him well, there was nothing he couldn't get. It was just that after spending so much time with Qin Yi, Fu Moyan had almost forgotten the other party's true identity. After sighing with emotion about how good it was to have a backer, he simply stopped watching the battle between Qin Shujian and the astral beast and entered the city, heading to the heavenly court branch in the city. Right now, he could exchange for things, and the most complete one was the heavenly court branch. The last time he picked up a true immortal crystal, Fu Moyan hadn't used it much until now. This time, he could go to the heavenly court branch and exchange for everything. Because he had a backer. He didn't need to waste merit points to exchange for things like cultivation methods and martial arts. He only needed to exchange for things that could increase his realm. For example, a divine-level crystal. For example, some things that could temper his physique. However, Fu Moyan thought about how he could go to the heavenly court later and ask for some astral beast blood. He was also considering whether he still needed to buy some things to temper his physique. After asking, Qin Yi directly gave an answer. Astral beast blood is extremely violent. Even after being diluted, it's not something that ordinary people can withstand. If you want to use astral beast blood to temper your body, it's best to complete the first volume of the Purple Heaven Divine Thunder Scripture. Wait until your realm reaches the 4th level of the Heaven Human realm before using such a treasure to cultivate. After receiving an answer, Fu Moyan nodded and had a rough plan for what he was going to do next. It was necessary to exchange for crystals because it was faster to obtain experience by absorbing crystals. If he relied on himself to fight monsters to level up, who knew how long it would take? The rest, he just needed to exchange for some treasures to temper his body so that he could prepare for the upcoming tribulation. The spacious square now seemed a little empty. Fu Moyan wasn't too surprised by this. Because the heavenly court had gone to war with the 3 great clans, 95% of the cultivators in the foreign battlefield had already formed an army and gone. The remaining cultivators were guarding this place to prevent any accidents from happening. Under such circumstances, there naturally weren't many people in the heavenly court branch. It was just that in order to maintain the stability of the heavenly court branch, there were still some people who set up stalls. But there weren't many cultivators who bought and traded. At least until now. Fu Moyan only saw a few people, including himself. There were probably no more than 10. After calming himself down, He walked towards one of the stalls. Chapter 860. What do you want to buy? The stall owner sitting at the stall was a little drowsy at this moment. It was only when he saw Fu Moyan's arrival that he perked up a little. But even so, he still didn't have much enthusiasm. This was something that couldn't be helped. Now that the myriad races had gone to war, most of the cultivators who stayed behind weren't very strong. Although there was the blood of star beasts outside, it wasn't something that cultivators with low cultivation could pick up. Therefore, for the stall owner, he was still sitting here basically because he had nothing to do. He was so bored that he was about to panic. Fu Moyan didn't care about the stall owner's state. I wonder if there are any celestial being realm crystals for sale, or some treasures that can temper the body. Celestial being crystal, a treasure for tempering the body. Hearing this, the stall owner was immediately energized. He originally thought that since the person who came was a mutant, he shouldn't have much money and couldn't afford anything expensive. That was why he was so indifferent. But now, Fu Moyan's question made him feel a little different. The stall owner sized up Fu Moyan seriously. After seeing his temperament, he had a rough guess in his heart. Of course, there are celestial being crystals, and there are also treasures for tempering the body. The stall owner said slowly, however, I need to take the liberty to ask. Do you want to walk the path of becoming a saint with your body? That's right, Fu Moyan admitted frankly. He also knew that there were many people who walked the path of becoming a saint with their body. This wasn't a secret that couldn't be said. The stall owner smiled and said, I believe you know that no matter what level the celestial being crystal is, you can only exchange it for 1,000 celestial merit points. But in fact, the energy contained in the celestial being crystal of different levels is different. If you exchange it for a crystal of the first level of the celestial being realm, you can exchange it for 1,000 merit points. I can't make a loss here, so if you want to buy it, you need to pay 1,100 merit points. 1,100 merit points. Fu Moyan frowned instinctively. Just as the other party said, the celestial being crystal could only be exchanged for 1,000 merit points, but now it was sold for 1,100 merit points. Although it was only an additional 100 celestial merit points, it was actually an additional 10%. If he bought something worth 10,000 celestial merit points, he might have to pay an extra 1,000 celestial merit points, and that was an optimistic estimate. Although he was somewhat dissatisfied in his heart. However, Fu Moyan still asked again, other than the first tier of celestial being crystals, how much are the other tiers of celestial being crystals sold for? Actually, it's not that expensive. For the Transcendence, celestial crystal, each additional minor realm costs an additional 100 merit points. If it was a saint-level crystal, every small realm increase would mean an extra 200 merit points. As for the crystals for the Almighty Realm, each additional minor realm requires an additional 500 merit points. Hearing this, Fu Moyan began to calculate. Based on what the other party had said, the crystals in the first layer of the celestial human realm were worth 1,100 contribution points, and the crystals in the third layer of the celestial human realm were worth 1,300 contribution points. As for becoming a saint, the number of merit points required was between 1,500 and 1,900. Almighty level crystals required 2,400 to 3,400 merit points. It had to be said. The price of a pinnacle Almighty's crystal was more than 3 times the price of one's own. If it was exchanged with perfected immortal merit points, it would require more than 300 perfected immortal merit points. However, Fu Moyan also understood. If he really wanted to exchange for a peak Almighty level crystal, the experience points contained within would definitely be enough for him to raise his realm. In fact, it wasn't as simple as raising his realm. Of course, even if he had enough merit points, he wouldn't dare to directly exchange for a peak Almighty level crystal. Because once his experience points were full, he would enter a state of continuous breakthrough. If he cultivated an ordinary cultivation technique, continuous breakthroughs would naturally be a good thing. However, if he cultivated the Purple Heaven Divine Thunder Scripture, continuous breakthroughs meant that there would be continuous heavenly tribulations. If his physical body wasn't strong enough, Transcending multiple tribulations was courting death. To be safe, Fu Moyan thought for a moment and then made a decision. I want to exchange for 10 celestial being crystals, but I can only buy them at the price of 500 merit points each. Sir, are you playing with me? The stall owner's face immediately turned cold. What did he mean? He offered 1,100 merit points, but the other party cut the price to 500 merit points. He was clearly making a loss for him. This wasn't how business was done. He had reason to believe that Fu Moyan was playing with him. If it weren't for the fact that he couldn't casually fight here, the stall owner would definitely let the other party understand why the flowers were so popular. I'm not offering celestial merit points, but perfected immortal merit points. Perfected immortal merit points. The stall owner's pupils constricted slightly. Fu Moyan said, although perfected immortal merit points exchange for celestial merit points is 1 to 10, I'm sure you know how precious they are. I'll give you 500 perfected immortal merit points for 10 celestial being level 1 crystals. 500 perfected immortal merit points. The stall owner obviously fell into hesitation. After lowering his head and thinking for a while, he looked up at Fu Moyan. 500 is too little. After all, the exchange ratio is only 10 to 1. Considering that perfected immortal merit points are more precious than celestial merit points, I can give you a discount. 800 perfected immortal merit points. I'll give you 10 celestial being level 1 crystals. 500 is already too much. I believe you don't need me to tell you how precious perfected immortal merit points are. Fu Moyan shook his head and didn't agree to the other party's suggestion. Either 500 perfected immortal merit points, or I'll go to another stall to exchange. I believe many people will be willing to accept this price. Hearing this, the stall owner's expression didn't change as he said with a faint smile, "You must be joking. Although perfected immortal merit points are precious, there's a limit to how precious they are. They can't be used much." Seeing this, Fu Moyan turned around and left. He couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with the other party. Everyone knew how precious perfected immortal merit points were. Since the other party wasn't sincere in trading, he would change to another stall. It was just as he said earlier. As long as he could take out perfected immortal merit points, there would definitely be a lot of people fighting to trade. Seeing Fu Moyan turn around and leave without saying anything, the stall owner was stunned for a moment. However, he didn't say anything to dissuade him. Used to doing business, the stall owner knew very well what the other party was thinking. In his eyes, Fu Moyan turned around and left just to lower his standards. As long as he didn't speak first, there wouldn't be any problems. However, under the stall owner's gaze, Fu Moyan had no intention of stopping at all. Seeing that the other party was about to walk to another stall, he finally couldn't hold back. "Come back, sir. We can discuss things." Chapter 861. Hearing the voice behind him, a faint smile appeared on Fu Moyan's face. Then he turned around and walked back. "Is there anything else?" 500 perfected immortal merit points. Then 500 perfected immortal merit points.
Deal.
"I've changed my mind now. 400 perfected immortal merit points for 10 heavenly human level crystals," Fu Moyan said indifferently. Since the other party had spoken first, he had the initiative. Hearing this, the stall owner's face immediately darkened. "Your Excellency, aren't you lowering the price too much? 500 perfected immortal merit points is barely breaking even. If it's 400, it'll be a pure loss. No one would be able to bear the loss of 100 perfected immortal merit points for no reason." Fu Moyan shook his head and explained, "That's not the case. You should know better than me how important perfected immortal merit points are. Now that the Heavenly Court has attacked the 3 great clans, it won't be long before the Heavenly Court's army returns victorious. At that time, the evil void demons would be wiped out. Unless there was a new method to obtain merit points, it would be impossible for others to obtain merit points. I believe that it won't be long before the value of perfected immortal merit points increases. At most, I'll offer 400 perfected immortal merit points. If you're willing to exchange, then do so. If not, then we'll wait and see. Soon, you'll know whether I'm right or not." The stall owner took a deep look at Fu Moyen and then pondered over his words. Indeed, once the 3 great clans were destroyed, the void demons were almost gone. In this way, there was almost no other way to obtain merit points. Moreover, perfected immortal merit points were not equivalent to other things. The things that could be exchanged for in the heavenly court were not things that the myriad clans could possess. As long as one had perfected immortal merit points in their hands, their value would naturally increase over time. Thinking of this, the stall owner gritted his teeth and nodded.
Deal.
400 perfected immortal merit points it is. However, you really have perfected immortal merit points. If you're trying to trick me, this matter won't end so easily. Don't worry, I've always been honest. Fu Moyen didn't care about the threat at all. In the outer realm, there were already many shattered stars. Of the star beasts that appeared later on, only 2 of them were at the upper 3rd layer of the true immortal realm, while the rest were at the middle 3rd layer of the true immortal realm. Regarding this, Qin Shu Jian was also having a great time killing them. Star beasts were released one by one, and then killed one by one. In a short period of time, at least 40 to 50 star beasts had died. The star cores that he had gathered had increased the power of the heavenly cycle star diagram greatly. Even though it had not reached the level of a top 8 tribulation ancestral armament, it had reached the level of a mid-tier ancestral armament. At this time, Qin Shujian had divided the 8 tribulations Zhu Bing into 4 levels, namely, the elementary level, the middle level, the high level, and the top level. As an elementary 8 tribulation Zhu Bing, he could be considered to have just touched the threshold of half-step Dao fruit. Once he reached the intermediate level, he would have completely stepped into the half-step Dao fruit realm. As for the high grade and peak grade, although they were still within the original category, their power was somewhat different. Especially the 8 tribulation Zhu Bing at the top. It was the existence closest to the 9 tribulation Zhu Bing, and also a shocking treasure that was qualified to touch the Dao fruit realm. Kill 2 more star beasts at the upper 3rd layer of the true immortal realm, and I will be able to transcend the 7th tribulation. Godslayer's voice came at this time, and he did not hide his excitement at all. He had just transcended the tribulation, and it had only been 2 or 3 days at most. Just like that, the energy needed by the 6th tribulation Zhu Bing was completely piled up. And it was when he used the heaven-deceiving technique, and it was almost overflowing. As long as he killed 2 more true immortals at the upper 3rd layer of the true immortal realm, he would naturally attract the heavenly tribulation.
To be honest,
with such results, even if Godslayer had originally imagined it, he was still very excited when it really came to this step. Once the 7 tribulation, Zhu Bing reached the 7 tribulation. If that was the case, he would be the strongest ancestral armament in this epoch. Throughout the ancient times, the most powerful Zhu Bing who had existed was only at the 6 or 7 tribulation level. The 8 tribulation Zhu Bing. It only existed in legends, and it had never appeared before. Because Zhu Bing's heavenly tribulation would become more and more powerful as it progressed. If he wanted to transcend the 8th tribulation, it would not be an exaggeration to say that he would definitely die. Godslayer was not confident that he could transcend the 8th tribulation, but he was confident that he could transcend the 7th tribulation. As long as he succeeded in transcending the tribulation, then he would be the first Zhu Bing. Even if he died in the tribulation later, the legends about him would be passed down forever. Qin Shu Jian held Godslayer, and he could also feel the surging energy in him. 2 true immortals at the upper 3rd layer of the true immortal realm. Then it should be enough to kill about 10 true immortals at the middle 3rd layer of the true immortal realm. The true immortals at the upper 3rd layer of the true immortal realm that Godslayer mentioned were only at the 7th layer of the true immortal realm. In terms of conversion, as long as there were 10 more star beasts at the 6th layer of the true immortal realm, it would be enough for him to enter the state of transcending the tribulation. The gap between the 4th layer of the true immortal realm and the 6th layer of the middle 3rd layer of the true immortal realm was not ordinary. After having a plan, Qin Shu Jian set his gaze on the next star. Godslayer suddenly slashed out, and a fierce saber light flashed past, and the star instantly split open. Boom! The star shattered, and a ferocious beast that was 1,000,000 feet tall appeared in the sky. That extremely ferocious aura even caused the nomological laws to tremble violently. In an instant, Qin Shujian's expression was solemn. He had won the prize. Although he had long guessed that there must be powerful star beasts sealed in the ancient stars, when such a star beast really appeared, he still could not help but feel shocked. The moment the star beast appeared, a tide-like aura swept out in all directions, and even the extraterritorial battlefield on one side was shaken. "Come with me." Qin Shujian looked at it solemnly for a moment, and then punched out, causing the star beast to be enraged. Immediately after, it fled into the depths of the void, without looking back. Such a powerful star beast. It was not suitable to fight in the original place, because that place was too close to the extraterritorial battlefield. If they really fought, the aftershocks alone could destroy the battlefield. Therefore, what Qin Shujian wanted to do was to attract the star beast to another place and then use some means to get rid of it. Inexplicably attacked, the star beast completely woke up from its dazed state.
Then,
it saw the blood-red color on Qin Shujian's body and the smell of slaughtering its own kind. Roar! A monstrous roar rose from its heart. In the next instant, its body moved, traversing hundreds of millions of miles of void, and chased after Qin Shujian. The star beast chased after him. Qin Shujian clearly sensed that his body did not stop at all, and he kept fleeing into the depths of the void. The God Slayer in his hand could also feel the terror of that aura. Emperor of Heaven, what level is this star beast at? He had a guess in his heart, but he was not sure. Hearing that, Qin Shujian said a few words softly. Half-step Dao fruit. Chapter 862. Half-step Dao fruit. Godslayer was so shocked that he couldn't speak. Qin Shujian's face regained its calmness as he continued to lure the star beasts into the depths of the void. With his current means, he had no problem dealing with a half-step Dao fruit. However, guessing was one thing, and a real battle was another. If he really had to fight with a half-step Dao fruit, to be honest, Qin Shujian wasn't 100% confident that he could kill the other party. Of course, he had no problem protecting himself. Otherwise, he would be the Emperor of Heaven for nothing. One man and one beast fled into the depths of the void. The vast abyss-like aura was almost undisguised as it constantly raged in the void. Wherever it passed, the void within hundreds of millions of miles collapsed. In another location in the depths of the void, the army of the heavenly court and the myriad races was rushing back. All of a sudden, the army stopped. Emperor Zhao and the others, who were in the lead, were all looking in one direction in horror, as if they had seen something terrifying. What is it? So powerful. This aura is so powerful. Could it be that the Void Demon still has some powerful backup plan? In their perception, there were two abyss-like auras passing by. In front of that aura, even the middle three true immortals felt their hearts tremble, as if their lives would end at any time. It could be said that in front of such an existence, even the middle three true immortals were ants. Even Emperor Zhao and Xiao Qingfeng were now shocked. They were not prepared for this sudden situation. Then, their eyes fell on Chu Kuangtu and Niu Dali. These two were the most powerful people in the Heavenly Courts team. Both of them were upper three true immortals. If those two terrifying auras really came with ill intentions, then they were the only ones who could deal with them. At this moment, Chu Kuangtu and Niu Dali's faces were also solemn. After a while, Chu Kuangtu solemnly spat out a few words. Half-step Dao fruit. Half-step Dao fruit, boom. These simple words set off a huge wave in the ears of the immortals and gods of the heavenly court. What was a half-step Dao fruit? In other words, they knew very well what a Dao fruit was. That was a realm that no one had reached since the beginning of the epoch. Half-step Dao fruit was the pinnacle existence since the beginning of the epoch. In the great wide world, there were only two living half-step Dao fruits. One existed in the Sea of Death, while the other existed in Heaven Abyss. A few years ago, The two places were often rioted. The immortals and gods of the heavenly courts had a deep understanding of the power of half-step Tao fruits. However, compared to the aura coming from the void, the aura emitted by the half-step Tao fruit of the Great Thousand World was far inferior. They originally thought that was the strength of a half-step Tao fruit expert. But now it seemed that either the half-step Tao fruit of the vast thousand realms was too weak, or the seal had isolated most of their auras. Or else, the gap shouldn't be that big. The demon emperor's face was deathly pale. Half-step Tao fruit. Their target isn't us. Could it be that there are still such powerhouses among the evil void devils? It had been a long time since he had broken through to the third level of the true immortal realm. In front of a powerhouse, he felt like an ant. Now that he sensed the aura as vast as the abyss, the demon emperor once again understood that the upper three levels of the true immortal realm were just slightly bigger ants. Compared to a real existence, they could be destroyed with a wave of a hand. Chu Kuangta shook his head and said, "Those two auras didn't come this way. If I'm not mistaken, one of them should have come from the Qin Emperor. The other aura, although violent, is somewhat different from the evil void devils. It's somewhat similar to the Star Beast." Earlier, the Qin Emperor had said that there was movement in the ancient star outside the extraterritorial battlefield. Now it seems that the Star Beast sealed in it has been born. With the Qin Emperor's current strength, even if he can't kill that half-step Tao fruit expert, it's impossible for him to be defeated. Now that he has led the Star Beast to the depths of the void, he must be worried that the battle will affect the Great Thousand World. Qin Shujian's aura. Chu Kuangta couldn't be more familiar with it. Combined with what the other party had said before, it was not difficult for him to guess the cause and effect. Niodali also nodded. He's right. The first aura did come from the Qin Emperor. As for the second aura, it should be the Star Beast. A battle at the half-step Tao fruit level is not something you can get close to. Not only you, but even we are not qualified to intervene for the time being. A half-step Tao fruit expert was only a little bit away from the Tao fruit level. Such a realm. No matter which era it was a top powerhouse. Even if the two of them were reincarnations of the Tao fruit level, it was impossible for them to compete with a half-step Tao fruit expert without breaking through to the 9th level of the immortal realm. Because after reaching that level, the foundation of their previous life would no longer be of much use. Such a powerhouse. Each of them was a shocking talent. In other words, anyone who was qualified to break through to the Tao fruit level had a foundation that ordinary people could not compare with. Even the reincarnation Tao fruit experts had to break through to the 9th level of the immortal realm before they were qualified to compete. After hearing the two's explanation, the immortals and gods of the heavenly court were temporarily relieved. Their perception was not as good as the two of them, and there was no way for them to detect that one of the auras was Qin Shujian. Xiao Qingfeng said in a deep voice, "I didn't expect the Emperor of Heaven's realm to have reached such a levels." Hearing that, the other immortals and gods nodded in agreement. If others had not mentioned it, they would not have dared to believe that the Emperor of Heaven was already comparable to a half-step Tao fruit expert. After all, the time he took to become an immortal was not much different from theirs. It was already shocking to be able to break through to the upper three levels of the true immortal realm. However, now that he was comparable to a half-step Tao fruit expert, it was undoubtedly even more shocking. Is the Emperor of Heaven really okay? Emperor Zhao frowned and could not help but ask. At this critical juncture, Qin Shujian could not afford to have any problems, although the three void demon clans had been dealt with. However, in reality, for the great wide world, the biggest threat had never been the void demons, but the demon abyss that was constantly approaching. If anything happened to Qin Shujian, then when the demon abyss descended, there would be no top powerhouses in the great wide world who could fight against the demon abyss. Chu Kuangta said, "Don't worry. The Qin Emperor's foundation is beyond your imagination." Before he refined Zhou Tian's star map, he could still suppress two top demon emperors. Now that Zhou Tian's star map has been successfully refined, even a half-step Tao fruit expert is in danger of dying. Instead of worrying about the Qin Emperor, you might as well worry about that star beast, and whether it will die in his hands. Thank you for explaining. Emperor Zhao cupped his hands and thanked him. Chu Kuangtu waved his hand and did not reply. He just cast his gaze to the other side of the void, thinking about something. Chapter 863.
Boom.
Two terrifying figures shuttled back and forth, one in front and one behind. The aura that spread out tore the void that it touched into pieces. In the process of traveling through the void, Qin Shujian's spiritual will moved slightly and sensed something. The Heavenly Court's army? Looks like I have to change directions. With this thought in mind, he immediately shifted his distance and continued to flee into the depths of the void. Qin Shujian also understood. At this time, the Heavenly Court's army appeared here, should have destroyed the three major clans, and was rushing back to the battlefield outside. If he went straight, it would be easier to collide with the Heavenly Court's army. If that was really the case, that would be troublesome. Because the tens of billions of Heavenly Court's army were like ants in front of a half-step Dao fruit expert. If he directly charged over, he might not be able to destroy the entire army, but at least more than half of them would be killed or injured. This was the terrifying part of a half-step Dao fruit expert. Just the aura that leaked out could annihilate billions of living beings. So, if he didn't change directions, the Heavenly Court would definitely suffer heavy casualties. When they attacked the three major clans, not many people would die, but when they returned to the capital, a sudden accident would cause them to lose more than half of their army, or even be wiped out. That would be really embarrassing. Regarding Qin Shujian's change of direction, the star beast behind him didn't care at all. In its eyes, it also had the thought of killing Qin Shujian. Because the bloody smell emitted from the other party's body seemed to be endless star beasts wailing and roaring. That was the remnant of the entire race after slaughtering a large number of star beasts. As the emperor of the star beast race, it absolutely couldn't let such an executioner live in the world. Otherwise, the star beast race would no longer have any dignity to speak of. Qin Shujian must die. No matter what, even if the other party fled to the ends of the world, he would still die. Qin Shujian could not sense the surging killing intent of the star beast behind him, but he didn't care. The other party wanted to kill him, and he also wanted to kill the other party. It was just that it was not easy to make a move in his current position, so he led it into the depths of the void. Otherwise, Qin Shujian would have stopped long ago and fought to the death with the other party.
Boom. Boom.
Two terrifying figures flashed past, and an abyss-like aura spread over millions of miles of space. The space shattered inch by inch like a mirror, and then it was like a boundless gale that raged through everything. The Heavenly Court's army, which had stopped in their tracks, only saw a sudden explosion in the void before them. Then they saw space shatter like a mirror. A world-destroying gale swept over. Cultivators of the myriad races, stay where you are. All immortals and gods of the Heavenly Court, attack with me and resist the aftershocks. Emperor Zhao yelled. As he spoke, he took a step forward, and a huge Dharma idol appeared in the void. He pushed out his palm, and his celestial origin energy suppressed the surroundings, trying to forcibly suppress the aftershock. When Emperor Zhao made his move, the other immortals and deities of the Heavenly Court made their moves as well. One by one, the Dharma Laksana condensed from divine consciousness manifested. None of them held back and attacked the void in front of them. Even Chu Kuangtu and Niu Dali did not stand idly by. A beam of saber light bloomed, illuminating the void for hundreds of millions of miles. Wherever it passed, the aftershocks were all calmed down. In the meantime, another green bull soared into the sky, its four hooves stomping on the sky, suppressing the greater thousand.
Boom.
All kinds of attacks converged and collided fiercely with the aftershocks. After the violent fluctuations, everything calmed down. The destroyed void was also repaired at a speed visible to the naked eye under the effect of the laws. The Qin Emperor is luring the star beast away from where we are now. The aftershocks just now were caused by the unintentional leakage of their own power. We must retreat immediately. Otherwise, if we really fight, we won't have any problems, but the other cultivators of the myriad races won't be able to survive. Xu Kuangtu put away his saber and said with a solemn expression. With his current strength, he was no match for a half-step Dao fruit expert, but he was still qualified to watch the battle. However, an army of tens of billions did not have such means. It was better to be safe than sorry. If the two of them were to really fight here, the rest of the people would only die. Emperor Zhao's expression was also serious. He nodded and replied, "That's right. We can't stay here any longer. We must rush back to the extraterritorial battlefield first." Hearing this, none of the immortals and deities of the heavenly court objected.
Soon.
The army that stopped rushed toward the extraterritorial battlefield in a mighty manner. However, it was different from before. The atmosphere of the army was much quieter now. There was no longer the joy of returning from a great victory. There was nothing they could do about it. Anyone who had just walked on the edge of life and death would not be in a good mood. In the unknown void, Qin Shujian stopped. He did not continue to escape because there was no need to. The current void was very far away from the extraterritorial battlefield. Even if there was any movement, it would not affect that place. After stopping, Qin Shujian turned around and looked at the star beast that was chasing after him. He had already taken out Zhou Tian's star map that existed in his spiritual sea. Two other supreme treasures appeared with Zhou Tian's star map.
Boom.
A fierce aura rushed toward him, and the wind alone shattered the void. The million-foot-long star beast stepped forward, its huge eyes full of violent killing intent. After approaching Qin Shujian, it punched out, wanting to completely kill the executioner in front of it.
Dong. Dong.
Qin Shujian's fist bombarded the Tiandi bell. The heavy and rapid sound of the bell immediately spread in all directions. Wherever the sound of the bell passed, the space froze. The sound of the bell rang 9 times in a row, causing the star beast's movements to stagnate slightly. However, it was only a slight pause. In less than a breath's time, it resumed its movements. After all, the Tiandi bell's grade was only comparable to a 6th tribulation Zubing. It was very difficult to completely restrain an existence at the half-step Dao fruit level. However, in Qin Shujian's eyes, a slight pause was enough. Because the moment the star beast froze, the yellow light of the scary chimera shone, causing the star beast to freeze even more.
Then,
Zhou Tian unfolded the star map. The array map, which was about 10 feet long, suddenly surged like a river of stars. A shocking array was set up in the blink of an eye, swallowing the star beast. Just as the array swallowed the star beast, a terrifying aura vibrated, and the yellow light of the scary chimera shattered in an instant. The next second, all the stars in the sky appeared. Qin Shujian took a step forward and came to the top of Zhou Tian's star map. The Tiandi bell and the scary chimera also flew into the air, suppressing the array eye. With a thought, the stars fell, like a scene of destruction, and attacked the star beast. Now that he had come to the depths of the void, even if he used Zhou Tian's star map, he was not afraid of being sensed by those ancient stars. This was the second purpose of Qin Shujian's star beast coming here. If he did not use Zhou Tian's star map, he was not confident that he could kill the star beast. Similarly, as long as Zhou Tian's star array was set up, as long as it was not at the Dao fruit level, there was no possibility of escape. Chapter 864. Zhou Tian set up the Great Astral Formation. The star beast seemed to have sensed some danger. It launched a powerful attack, attacking the formation frantically, trying to break it with brute force.
Boom.
A huge fist punched out, and the falling star immediately shattered. Terrifying aftershocks erupted with the two as the center, as if the void within hundreds of millions of miles had turned into powder. Outside the formation, Qin Shujian's eyes were cold. He covered the array formation with his divine sense and controlled its changes. The interior of Zhou Tian's great astral formation seemed vast, but in fact, it did not occupy much space. However, there was a universe inside, like a world born from heaven and earth. Inside the formation, one would feel that it was boundless. At present, every move of the star beast in the formation could not be hidden from Qin Shujian's eyes and ears. When he saw the falling star fail to do anything, he waved his hand. He waved his hand again, and the formation instantly changed. In an instant, killing intent descended. An endless river of stars fell from the sky, looking very gorgeous. The killing intent had already descended. Rumble. Wherever the river of stars passed, the void collapsed. The star beast roared. Instead of retreating, it stepped into the air and punched, trying to shatter the river of stars. In the end, the river of stars trembled violently. The star beast's body shook, and it took a step back. Qin Shujian waved his hand again. The stars in the sky bloomed with dazzling brilliance.
Then,
Stars fell one after another, turning into star beasts 1,000,000 feet tall, and besieging the star beast in the middle. The aura of each star beast was extremely powerful. Although there was a big gap between them and half-step Dao fruit star beasts, there were enough of them. After those star beasts were born, they attacked their own kind under Qin Shujian's command. A great battle
broke out again.
Qin Shujian's true yuan poured into the formation, enhancing its power. Half-step Dao fruit star beasts are indeed strong. If I'm not wrong, this is the Beast Emperor of all the sleeping star beasts. Beast Emperor. It was the emperor of the Star Beast clan and the strongest of all the star beasts. Although there were still many ancient stars that had yet to break out of their seals, Qin Shujian was basically certain that the star beast in front of him was the emperor of the star beasts. Because the other party had reached the half-step Dao fruit realm, this was already enough to explain some things. He didn't believe that there were stronger existences among the star beasts. If even a half-step Dao fruit expert was not a beast emperor, then what level of existence was a beast emperor? Dao fruit? Qin Shujian knew that no Dao fruit had been born in this epoch. Naturally, no Dao fruit existed among the star beasts. At this moment, the star beasts manifested by Zhou Tian's great star formation were still battling the beast emperor. Star beasts weren't real star beasts. They were just a manifestation of the array diagram's power. It was only because Zhou Tian's star map's power was the most compatible with star beasts. Hence, when star beasts were manifested, they could unleash even more power. At present, with the power of the formation diagram, a total of 365 astral beasts could be created. Moreover, the power of each star beast was comparable to that of a 5th-level immortal. Originally, Zhou Tian's star map, which had just been successfully refined, could only manifest 4th-level immortal star beasts at most. However, after absorbing a lot of star cores, the power of the formation diagram had completed a small transformation. Star beasts could now be manifested inside. They had also broken through from 4th-level immortal to 5th-level immortal. Besieged by 365 5th-level immortal star beasts, even a 9th-level immortal would have no choice but to die. However, in the face of such an attack, the Beast Emperor didn't show any signs of defeat. Instead, it killed one star beast after another. When the star beasts died, the stars in the sky seemed to have dimmed a little. At the same time, the formation trembled slightly, as if showing signs of shattering.
Soon,
The Tiandi Bell and the Skirich Mirror, which were suppressing the formation eye, both shone brightly. Then, they merged with the formation diagram and stabilized the slightly trembling formation. Qin Shujian clasped his hands behind his back and calmly watched the scene in the formation. He didn't relax for a moment as he channeled his true essence. A half-step Dao fruit expert is indeed difficult to deal with. Even Zhou Tian's star map array couldn't immediately kill it. Instead, it could only barely suppress it. If it were Baduo or Mo Shelua, I'm afraid they wouldn't be far from death. Qin Shujian sighed in his heart. A half-step Dao fruit expert was indeed difficult to deal with. The Beast Emperor in front of him actually had a strong foundation. He even suspected that if there were no accidents, the the Beast Emperor might become the first Dao fruit expert in this era. This was no joke, because there were only a few half-step Dao fruit experts in the entire universe. Qin Song had already died in the ancient times. The Great Thousand Domains solar and lunar laws had no possibility of advancing in the future. Half-step Dao fruit was their limit. On the contrary, the Beast Emperor, who was originally sleeping in the ancient star, didn't have any restrictions. As long as it had enough opportunities, it could break through to the Dao fruit realm. Actually, there are a lot of people who have a chance to break through to the Dao fruit realm in this era. Qin Shujian thought of something and suddenly shook his head. Except for the Beast Emperor in front of him. There were few immortals in the heavenly court who had a chance of advancing. Zhao Huang and Xiao Qingfeng were two of them. The remaining immortals like the Beast Emperor and the Dog Emperor also had some hope, but it was very slim. Among all the clans of the original Void Demons, Ba Duo and Mo Xiaolua also had a chance of breaking through. Especially Ba Duo. He had been a top demon emperor for countless years and had a strong foundation. He hadn't broken through to the half-step Dao fruit realm because he lacked an opportunity. However, Ba Duo had already died. No matter how many possibilities there were, they had become impossible. His thoughts drifted away and quickly returned. Qin Shujian's gaze still fell on the array. At this moment, many of the star beasts that had been born had already been killed. In the array, star beasts fell one after another. The Beast Emperor's power was unparalleled. Seeing this, Qin Shujian smiled slightly and waved a sleeve again. The stars in the sky, which had dimmed a little, shone again with dazzling brilliance. Then, star beasts were born one after another. I want to see how many you can kill. The star beasts are immortal in the array. As long as the array's power and my true essence are not exhausted, they can continue to be reborn. Next, it's time to see how long your foundation can last. Qin Shujian didn't look too nervous. Instead, there was a faint smile on his face. Star beasts were immortal. Because star beasts weren't real living beings, they were just born of the array's power. As long as he was willing, star beasts could be born without limit. Of course, the premise was that the person who set up the array had to have enough true essence to support it. Regarding this, Qin Shujian was as steady as Mount Tai. It was a competition of consumption. To be honest, he had never been afraid of anyone. Chapter 865. Putting everything else aside. Just having an inner world in his body allowed Qin Shujian's true essence to reach an almost inexhaustible level. Although it was inexhaustible, it was only relatively speaking. But it also showed his deep foundation. Putting everything else aside, Qin Shujian believed that if other half-step Dao fruits competed with him, they would definitely be tortured to death. Although the Beast Emperor's foundation was strong, but in his opinion it was still a little lacking. In the array, the fallen star beasts revived and then joined the battle. Although the Beast Emperor's intelligence was not high, it also understood what the changes in front of it meant. Roar! It roared angrily at the sky, and the sound waves swept in all directions like a wave, causing the bodies of many star beasts to collapse. Since its birth, the Beast Emperor had never encountered such trouble before. It had never encountered such an enemy that it couldn't kill no matter how hard it tried. It could understand. The star beasts that were born in front of it were just similar to its own race, but in fact, they had nothing to do with the star beast race. Therefore, the Beast Emperor didn't show any mercy. But no matter how merciless it would still need to consume some energy to kill a 5th-level immortal star beast. There was no problem with 1 or 2 star beasts. But when the number reached hundreds, it wasn't so easy to deal with. It was just that the Beast Emperor's foundation was really strong. Even if the star beasts kept reviving, it didn't cause too much trouble for him. Turn. Qin Shujian suddenly moved again and activated the array. The stars in the array shone, and the power of the sun and the moon collided and merged with each other, forming a great millstone of destruction that suppressed the Beast Emperor, trying to kill it. Wherever the great millstone of destruction passed, everything turned into nothingness. The Beast Emperor also felt threatened, and as it roared, its huge fist blasted out, turning complexity into simplicity, returning to simplicity. Its attack moves didn't have any mysterious changes, only simple attacks, but every punch could destroy the galaxy and faintly cause the laws to tremble. In Qin Shujian's eyes, such a method had reached the level of breaking all laws with one force. The fist blasted out. The great millstone of annihilation crushed down. The intertwining power of yin and yang was enough to annihilate all matter in the world. The Beast Emperor's fist cracked open, and a river of blood flowed out from the wound. This was the first time it had been injured since it entered the array. That kind of intense pain. The Beast Emperor was both shocked and enraged. Instantly, with the injury on his fist healed, he attacked once more.
Boom. Boom.
The Beast Emperor unleashed all of his power. Each of his punches was capable of shattering the void, and even forcibly forcing the laws out of the void. But in Zhou Tian's great star formation, Qin Shujian was the sky. The great millstone of annihilation contained all the power of the formation. Yin and yang intertwined to give birth to chaos, and it was enough to obliterate everything in the world. He was as strong as a half-step Dao fruit expert. In the face of the power of the great millstone of destruction, he was forced to retreat step by step.
Suddenly,
the Tiandi bell, which was suppressing the eye of the formation, let out a shocking sound. The sound of the bell spread out like ripples, as if time and space were frozen. Then, yellow light burst out from the heavenly mirror, which froze everything together with the Tiandi bell. Two supreme treasures. Both of them focused on confinement. Now that they were activated together, their power increased exponentially. And with the support of Zhou Tian's star map, the extent of the increase was even more terrifying. Inside the array, in the sky, the shadow of a large bell and an ancient mirror had appeared out of nowhere. The sound of the bell and the yellow light swept down. The Beast Emperor, who was punching, stopped. In the next instant, the great millstone of annihilation crushed, and the endless void collapsed. The shackling power of the two supreme treasures dissipated, but the Beast Emperor's physical body was also torn apart by the great millstone of annihilation. His million-feet-long body was torn apart. Blood flowed wildly, like a river. Even though his injuries healed very quickly, he had lost a lot of power. At this moment, the bell sounded again, and the heavenly mirror reflected the greater world. The Beast Emperor paused again, and the great millstone of annihilation had completely suppressed him. Boom! The Beast Emperor's healed physical body was forcefully torn apart, and the intense pain caused his hideous face to twist slightly. His throat rolled, and before he could make a sound of anger, he saw the power of the Tiandi bell and the heavenly mirror had descended again. In the Zhou Tian Great Star Array, the Beast Emperor was almost in a situation where he could not fight back. The combination of the Tiandi bell, the heavenly mirror, and the Zhou Tian star map was almost perfect. The former two focused on confinement. The latter focused on extermination. Complementing each other, the Beast Emperor was already seriously injured. As long as we can delay for a little longer, this Beast Emperor will die. Qin Shujian looked at the Beast Emperor, who was in a disadvantageous situation, with a look of victory on his face. The Zhou Tian star map was successfully refined. Unless there was an absolute power that could forcibly break the Zhou Tian Great Star Array, once trapped, defeat was only a matter of time. The current Beast Emperor was in such a situation. The other party's strength was indeed very strong. Among the experts that he had encountered in this era, he could be considered the number one. It was a pity. The Beast Emperor's strength was still a little weak. If it was just the Zhou Tian star map alone, Qin Shujian might not be confident that he could make the Beast Emperor stay. However, with the Tiandi bell and the heavenly mirror suppressing the Beast Emperor, there was no way that the Beast Emperor could escape. When he was refining these two treasures, Qin Shujian already had a plan.
To put it bluntly,
the purpose of the birth of these two supreme treasures was to prepare for the Heavenly Cycle stellar map. The reason why the Zhou Tian Great Star Array was unparalleled in terms of offense was that it could be called the #1 array formation even in several eras. The reason was, in addition to the ingenuity of the formation, the supreme treasure that was used to suppress the eye of the formation also played a great role. It's a pity that the Donghuang Bell has been destroyed. If the Donghuang Bell could be used to suppress the array core, the Beast Emperor would definitely not be able to hold on for so long. The Tiandi Bell is far inferior to the Donghuang Bell. Thinking of the famous Donghuang Bell in the First Era, Qin Shujian also felt that it was a pity. It was a treasure. In the end, it was destroyed at the end of the era and did not survive. If he had the Donghuang Bell in hand, coupled with the current Zhou Tian star map, he was confident that he could even wrestle with a real Dao fruit, let alone a half-step Dao fruit. However, if he really had to fight with a Dao fruit, Qin Shujian felt that the chances of winning were slim. However, no matter how slim the chances of winning were, it was already an incredible achievement to be able to fight with a Dao fruit. In the future, I'll think of a way to upgrade the Tiandi Bell and the Heavenly Mirror. Even if they can't be compared to innate treasures like the Donghuang Bell, if they can be upgraded to 7th or 8th Tribulation Zubing, they will be of great use. Qin Shujian thought to himself while continuing to activate the array formation to attack the Beast Emperor. In the array formation, the great millstone of destruction crushed the greater world. The Beast Emperor was furious and wanted to resist, but there was nothing he could do. P.S. Give the new book some support. It can't even get into the top 10 of the contract signing list. Chapter 866. Inside Zhou Tian's Grand Astral Formation. The Tiandi Bell and Skirich mirror vibrated violently. The bell chimes combined with the yellow light perfectly imprisoned Beast Emperor in place. The Great Obliteration Millstone obliterated everything. Even a half-step Dao fruit body could only quietly crumble. Beast Emperor roared indignantly, but there was nothing he could do. The longer it stayed in the array, the weaker its power became. The Great Obliteration Millstone's suppression, in particular, could obliterate a portion of Beast Emperor's power each time. This emperor of the Star Beast clan, who had been in a deep slumber for hundreds of millions of years, had finally reached the end of his road.
Boom.
The void wailed. Under the suppression of the Great Obliteration Millstone, Beast Emperor's body was obliterated bit by bit. He was on the verge of death. Emperor of Heaven, quick, let me deal the final blow. Godslayer, who was watching the battle, said urgently. Half-step Dao fruit. That was a half-step Dao fruit powerhouse. If he could kill Beast Emperor, he would definitely be able to transcend the 7th tribulation. After all, the energy contained in a half-step Dao fruit powerhouse was not something an upper 3 true immortal could compare to. Godslayer was already close to transcending the tribulation. If he could absorb Beast Emperor's power now, transcending the tribulation would be a certainty.
In fact,
he didn't need to say anything. Qin Shujian already had a plan. Wait a little longer. Don't be anxious. Beast Emperor looked like he was not far from death. But at this level, being on the verge of death didn't mean that he was really waiting for death. He was certain. Once the formation was removed, Beast Emperor would definitely erupt. The most appropriate thing to do now was to maintain the formation and continue to wear down Beast Emperor's power. When Beast Emperor really reached his limit, he would let Godslayer deal the final blow. At this moment, in Zhou Tian's Grand Astral Formation, the power of yin and yang intertwined to form the Great Obliteration Millstone, constantly obliterating Beast Emperor's power. Such a strong physical body had been torn apart by the Great Millstone of Annihilation. Then, it was healed by the power of new life. After that, it would be torn apart again. This cycle repeated endlessly. Time slowly passed. In the end, Qin Shujian waved his hand and put away Zhou Tian's star map, as well as the other 2 supreme treasures. Then, he held the Godslayer in one hand and attacked the dying Beast Emperor.
Boom.
The saber aura suddenly struck out, cutting open the lonely void. The sharpness of the 6 tribulations Zubing was completely revealed. When the stone saber chopped down, The boundless killing intent condensed into a terrifying demon god, roaring furiously in the void. Roar! In the face of Zhu Bing's threat, the Beast Emperor let out an indignant roar. There was anger and fear in his voice.
Death.
Any living being would feel fear because of this. As powerful as a ruler of the star beasts, when faced with death, he would instinctively feel fear. However, no matter what, the star beast in front of him was the ruler of a race. When he understood that there was no way for him to dodge, the ferocious nature hidden in his heart was completely unleashed. Blood gushed out of his broken body like a river bursting through a dam. However, he did not care at all. His huge fist suddenly blasted out, and his unparalleled aura shook the void. Vaguely, the void laws buzzed, and a mother stream seemed to appear. This was the resonance of the laws when one's strength reached a certain level. Slash. Qin Shujian's expression was cold. His soft shout was like a law. A mysterious power acted on the stone saber, and it finally slashed down. The void collapsed. His flesh and blood split. The Beast Emperor, who was at the end of his tether, was directly split in two by the stone saber. His million-foot-long body scattered in the void. Not only that shocking murderous intent turned into a powerful saber that obliterated the Beast Emperor's will. However, the Beast Emperor was a half-step Dao fruit existence after all. His consciousness was almost immortal. Even if his body was split, there was a tendency for it to heal again. In this regard, Qin Shujian was already prepared. Zhou Tian's star map flew up into the air and directly suppressed a piece of the Beast Emperor's body. Next, Tiandi Bell and the sky-penetrating mirror flew up again and forcibly suppressed the other piece of the Beast Emperor's body. The God Slayer seemed to understand tacitly and flew towards one of the pieces of the Beast Emperor's body to absorb the power of the other party. After doing these things, Qin Shujian did not stop. Instead, he spread out his divine sense and looked for something in the two pieces of the Beast Emperor's body. After a while, he stretched out one hand and condensed a palm of true essence. It struck out in the air and landed on Zhou Tian's body that was suppressed by the star map. Then it sank into it and then pulled it out with force. A colorful star core was pulled out by Qin Shujian just like that. A half-step Dao fruit-level star core. Looking at the star core in his hand, his eyes bloomed with brilliance. Star cores of other levels could not be compared to a half-step Dao fruit-level star core at all.
To put it bluntly,
the star core in front of him alone was more powerful than all the star cores that had been integrated into Zhou Tian's star map before. As long as he integrated the star core in his hand into Zhou Tian's star map, Qin Shujian believed it. The level of Zhou Tian's star map could at least break through the level of an 8 tribulation Zhu Bing. This was still a conservative estimate. If this Beast Emperor's star core was powerful enough, then Zhou Tian's star map could definitely be promoted to a top 8 tribulation Zhu Bing. If it can really be promoted to a top 8 tribulation Zhu Bing, then by integrating the remaining star cores, Zhou Tian's star map will have a chance to be promoted to a level comparable to that of a 9 tribulation Zhu Bing. Qin Shujian's eyes flickered, and he could not help but feel excited. If he really broke through to the level of a 9 tribulation Zhu Bing, then the Zhou Tian star array set up by Zhou Tian's star map would already be qualified to compete with a Dao fruit level.
No matter which era it was in,
a 9 tribulation Zhu Bing was a supreme treasure that could not be ignored. Even a Dao fruit level expert would fight for a 9 tribulation Zhu Bing. In the third era, he only had a 9 tribulations Zhu Bing in his hand. However, that 9 tribulations Zhu Bing had been completely destroyed when the third era fell. Until now, Qin Shujian did not have a single 9 tribulations Zhu Bing that he could take out. That Sanhua that existed in the heavenly court was not a supreme treasure that he owned. Because Sanhua was the sword master's divine weapon. Even if it submitted to him now, it did not mean that he could fully exert the power of that divine weapon. Without hundreds or thousands of years of cooperation, there was no possibility of telepathy at all. Moreover, Qin Shujian was not very interested in long swords. No matter which era he was in, he used more sabers or simply fists. He did not dabble much in the sword Dao. If Zhou Tian's star map can be promoted to a 9 Tribulation Zubing, then in this era, I will be the real boss. No matter what your background is, whether you are a dragon or a tiger, you'll have to behave yourself. He did not forget that there were still experts from the first few eras in the other player worlds. Moreover, the threat of the demon abyss had not been resolved yet. With one more supreme treasure, he would have more confidence. Chapter 867. All the clans of the Void Demons had been destroyed, and the remaining Void Demons were almost completely wiped out. Even if there were some fish that escaped the net, they wouldn't be able to cause much trouble. The next threat of the Heavenly Court was the Demon Abyss that was constantly approaching. As for the Demon Abyss, Qin Shujian still had a lot of fear in his heart. Because the Demon Abyss was the physical manifestation of the Dao fruit, there was more than one half-step Dao fruit inside, and maybe there was a backup left behind by the fallen Dao fruit. No matter how one looked at it, the Demon Abyss was a hard bone to chew.
And
the Demon Abyss had a glorious record of destroying the ancient Heavenly Court 1,000,000 years ago. From the ancient battle, it could be seen how powerful the Demon Abyss was. Qin Shujian had a lot of confidence in his own strength. But no matter how confident he was, he didn't dare to say that he could kill the Demon Abyss with 100% certainty.
But
as long as Zhou Tian's star map really advanced to the level of 9 Tribulation Zubing, then he could face the Demon Abyss openly and even beat the Demon Abyss until it obediently called him father. This was the confidence brought by strength. Thinking in his heart, Qin Shujian directly integrated the star core in his hand into Zhou Tian's star map. After the star core touched the formation map, it was like a stone gently falling into the water. After a slight ripple, it completely sank. Not long after, Zhou Tian's star map vibrated. A powerful aura rose from the formation map. The aura lasted for half a day, and then gradually quieted down. Then, a brilliant light overflowed from the formation map, and there was a phantom image of a galaxy running through the sky.
soon,
The phantom image of the galaxy running through the sky disappeared, and a terrifying star beast phantom appeared. Looking carefully, one would find that the star beast was exactly the same as the beast emperor in front. All kinds of visions appeared, and then disappeared. But the aura on the formation map was even more tyrannical, suppressing the beast emperor's remnant body to the point that it couldn't resist, and the remaining consciousness was being worn down even faster. Also, when the vision of Zhou Tian's star map disappeared, Qin Shujian's face lit up with joy. Top 8 Tribulation Zubing. Promoted. He had really advanced. When he saw that Zhou Tian's star map had really advanced to the top of the 8 Tribulation Zubing, he couldn't help but be overjoyed. The foundation of the Beast Emperor. He was much more powerful than Qin Shujian had imagined. After the ecstasy, he quickly calmed down. A half-step Dao Fruit Beast Core can elevate an array diagram to the peak of the 8th Tribulation Zubing because the Beast Emperor is strong enough. In fact, those who could rely on their own strength to resonate with the natural order also had such a foundation. If it weren't for the help of Zhou Tian's star map, I wouldn't have been its match. Qin Shujian knew very well that he was no match for the Beast Emperor without the help of a divine weapon. That was because the Beast Emperor was truly powerful. To be able to trigger the resonance of the laws with just his physical body was not something that anyone could do. One had to know. In order to trigger the resonance of the laws, one's strength had to be so strong that it was qualified to touch the limits of the outer realms. Just like the Beast Emperor, Star Beasts didn't comprehend the laws. They relied only on their physical strength to push themselves to an unimaginable level. Logically speaking, no matter how strong a Star Beast was, it couldn't have anything to do with the laws. But once a Star Beast reached the level of the Beast Emperor, even if it didn't understand the laws, it could rely on its own strength to resonate with the laws. That was to say, the Beast Emperor didn't understand the laws at all, and didn't know how to borrow the power of the laws. Otherwise, After triggering the resonance of the laws, the other party was fully qualified to borrow the power of the laws of the outer realms. At that time, its strength would increase a lot. In short, Qin Shujian was somewhat lucky to be able to kill the Beast Emperor. On the other side, God Slayer had absorbed most of the power of the remnant body. When the energy was completely absorbed, the will on the remnant body was also completely exhausted, and it finally disappeared. At this moment, a heavenly tribulation condensed in the void. After absorbing only half of the Beast Emperor's remnant body power, Godslayer broke through the critical point of transcending the tribulation. Emperor of Heaven, I'm going to transcend the tribulation. He didn't finish his words. The tribulation came crashing down. Qin Shu Jian instantly put away the Tiandi bell that was suppressing the remnant body and the heaven-span mirror. Then, he moved Zhou Tian's star map away from the remnant body and retreated at the same time. The tribulation didn't distinguish between friend and foe. Either you broke through to the Dao fruit realm and didn't fear the tribulation, or you obediently retreated.
Boom.
The tribulation came crashing down on the stone sword. Dense lightning evolved into a sea of lightning, illuminating the colorless void with a purple-blue hue. Compared to the sixth tribulation Zhu Bing's tribulation, the seventh tribulation Zhu Bing's was several times stronger. Similarly, the seventh tribulation Zhu Bing's strength was destined to be much stronger than the sixth tribulation Zhu Bing's. Watching the tribulation come crashing down, Qin Shujian's expression was indescribable. The seventh tribulation Zhu Bing's tribulation already has the power of a ninth tribulation immortal. The eighth tribulation Zhu Bing's tribulation is between the peak of the ninth tribulation immortal and the half-step Dao fruit realm. But the ninth tribulation Zhu Bing's tribulation, even if it's not at the Dao fruit realm, won't be too far away. Heavenly tribulations of this level are extraordinarily difficult to successfully overcome. It is no wonder that no ancestral armament above the seventh tribulation has appeared in this epoch. Although Zhu Bing's strength was magical. But precisely because Zhu Bing's strength was magical, the tribulation he experienced was also abnormally powerful. Although Zhou Tian's star map was already comparable to the top 8 tribulation Zhu Bing's, in fact, it was fundamentally different from the real Zhu Bing. Simply put, if a player was killed by a first tribulation Zhu Bing, they would truly die. But if a player was killed by a Zhou Tian star map, they wouldn't truly die. The difference was the power of faith. In other words, no matter how powerful Zhou Tian's star map was, there was no way it could touch the real level unless there was some opportunity. For example, the power of faith. For example, the power of truth. But any kind of power was not so easy to obtain. The power of faith alone could not be completed in a short time. The formation of a Zhu Bing. At the very least, it would take 10,000 years to calculate. Unless it could be wholeheartedly believed by a clan like the two stone tablets in the Qian Yuan realm, there was no way it could transform to the level of a real Zhu Bing in a short time. Not to mention the power of truth. Even Qin Shu Jian didn't know much about truth. The only truth. It was the red lotus of purgation that was deduced with truth when the third era turned to life from death.
Apart from that,
there was no extra means. Even so, it didn't mean that Zhou Tian's star map was useless. When it comes to the real level, Zhou Tian's star map doesn't play a role. But whether it's dealing with the demon abyss or other strong people in the universe, it has nothing to do with the real level. As long as I have this treasure in hand, it's enough. Chapter 868. As for the demon abyss, the undying indestructibility of evil demons should not be true undying indestructibility, because there has never been true immortality in the world. The demons in the demon abyss look similar to the players at first glance, but it can't be related to true power. With Qin Shujian's knowledge, he naturally understood how difficult it was to come into contact with true power. If any of the demons had true strength, it would undoubtedly be a fantasy. According to his assumption, the demon's immortality should be related to the Dao fruit's physical body. In the universe, the Dao fruit also had the trait of being immortal. However, this trait was completely different from the player's undying trait. No matter how strong the Tao fruit's immortality was, it was on an illusory level and could not transcend the essence of the universe. In other words, if he wanted to truly kill the demons, he didn't necessarily have to rely on Zhu Bing. There must be other ways. Qin Shujian watched the heavenly tribulation descend, and his thoughts had already drifted to the demon abyss. Aside from the demon abyss, the simplest and most direct way to kill the demons is probably to break through all methods with brute force. As long as the power is strong enough and transcends a certain limit, then the demons can be completely wiped out. To deal with the power of the Tao fruit level, at least the same level of power is needed. In other words, the innate cardinal treasures of other eras and other divine weapons comparable to innate cardinal treasures can truly kill the demons. Thinking of this, Qin Shujian was somewhat certain. It was just that there were no demons for him to experiment with now, so he didn't dare to be 100% sure. However, against the demons, Qin Shujian wasn't worried about not being able to kill the demons. Not to mention that he had so many tricks up his sleeve. Just the Red Lotus of Purgation, which involved the true level, could make the demons in the demon abyss wait for death. The only shortcoming of the Red Lotus of Purgation was that it wasn't strong enough and couldn't forcefully kill some powerful demons. Otherwise, right now, he wanted to charge into the Devil Abyss and throw down a Red Lotus to exterminate all the evil spirits. The most direct way to improve the Red Lotus of Purgation is to refine powerful creatures. If the God Slayer doesn't want to go through the 8th calamity, then the remaining astral beasts are enough for me to use. Qin Shujian placed his hopes of improving the Red Lotus of Purgation on those star beasts. However, there was a precondition to this, and that was that God Slayer didn't want to continue transcending the tribulation. Otherwise, he would still leave the astral beast to God Slayer. The reason was simple. Compared to increasing the power of the Red Lotus of Purgation, the Zhu Bing of 8-9 tribulations was more useful. By the time all the remaining astral beasts were killed, even if the surging energy within was not enough for the Godslayer to pass through the 9th calamity, passing through the 8th calamity would not be a problem. As for how you're going to do it, it depends on whether you're brave enough. Looking at the Godslayer fighting against the heavenly tribulation, Qin Shujian thought to himself. The opportunity was right here. Whether he dared to try it or not depended on the individual. He couldn't force him. However, if the Godslayer was really unwilling to try, then Qin Shujian wouldn't keep using the Zhu Bing. Because as his realm improved, the 7 tribulations Zhu Bing would be eliminated sooner or later. What he really needed was a divine weapon that would grow with him. Only then could it be of great help. In the past, the Godslayer didn't have a chance to improve. Now that there was a chance, if the other party wanted to give it up, then Qin Shujian wouldn't put him in an important position anymore. Just like the bow of heaven and earth in the past. After his strength improved, the Taoist artifact couldn't keep up with his progress, so he directly removed the Taoist artifact's ownership and threw it to Zhang Ergu. If the Godslayer couldn't keep up with him by the time he broke through the fruit of Tao.
Time.
Although Qin Shujian wouldn't go so far as to hide the Zhu Bing, there was a high probability that he would give it to someone and let that person inherit it. He wouldn't use it himself anymore. These words. He wouldn't say it to the Godslayer. He would only let the other party follow his heart. Boom. The heavenly tribulations fell one after another. The aura of destruction spread, and the dense thunder transformed into a sea of thunder that occupied the void for millions of miles. Any living creature that approached this range would suffer a devastating blow. Someone as strong as Qin Shujian. After feeling the power of the Sea of Thunder, he felt a strong sense of fear. Unlike the 6th tribulation, when he directly rushed into the tribulation clouds to fight, the Godslayer could only rely on his own foundation to resist the power of the heavenly tribulation. He couldn't be completely passive. But he could only fight back and forth with the heavenly tribulation. There was no other way. The power of the 7th heavenly tribulation was too strong. Even if the Godslayer had the heaven-deceiving technique and accumulated his strength to the peak, he could only barely resist the heavenly tribulation. Time passed little by little. In the end, The sound of thunder gradually weakened, and the power of the heavenly tribulation also weakened. When the heavenly tribulation completely retreated, a powerful saber energy burst out from the sea of thunder. In the blink of an eye, the sea of thunder was torn apart, showing the appearance of a stone saber. At this point, the Godslayer officially broke through to the seventh tribulation Zubing. After the successful breakthrough, he flew to the front of Qin Shujian. "I'm already the seventh tribulation Zubing." In one sentence, one could hear how happy the Godslayer was. Qin Shujian nodded. "Congratulations on the success of the breakthrough. Now, do you plan to continue the breakthrough or stop here?" After saying that, the Godslayer suddenly fell silent. The joy of the breakthrough disappeared a lot. Continue the breakthrough, or stop here? This was a very difficult choice. From the seventh tribulation, it could be seen how powerful the heavenly tribulation in the future would be, even with the help of the heaven-deceiving technique. When he was going through the tribulation just now, the Godslayer was under great pressure. Without the heaven-deceiving technique, he knew how low the success rate would be if he went through the future tribulations on his own. Logically speaking, to be able to become a seven tribulation ancestral armament, one could be said to be the strongest of all the ancestral armaments in this epoch. Even if one were to stop making breakthroughs, there would not be any ancestral armaments that would be able to surpass one. However, the Godslayer couldn't say that he should stop here. The seventh tribulation Zubing. It was true that he was the most powerful Zubing in the history of this era. But after the seventh tribulation Zubing, there were the eighth tribulation and the ninth tribulation. The so-called most powerful in history was only relative. Before reaching this level, the Godslayer thought that he could break through to the seventh tribulation and he would be satisfied. But when he really reached this point, he was a little unwilling to stop now. Besides, the Godslayer was sure that once he stopped moving forward, he would definitely not be able to keep up with Qin Shujian's pace. Sooner or later, he would be abandoned by the other party. The strong would always be strong. If he wasn't strong enough, he definitely wouldn't be qualified to follow. The stone saber stayed motionless in the void. After a long time, the saber suddenly vibrated, and a firm voice came out from it. "I want to try." Chapter 869. Give it a try. Godslayer had already made a decision in his heart. He knew very well. He was able to reach where he was today because he followed Qin Shujian and received the blessings of this reincarnation Tao fruit. If not for this, not to mention the seven tribulations Zubing, even if he could pass the fifth tribulation, it would be a problem. To put it bluntly, Qin Shujian was rumored to be a person of great providence. No. He should be more tyrannical than a person of great providence. To be able to follow him, one could obtain unimaginable opportunities in the past, although the opportunities came with a certain amount of risk. But Godslayer still wanted to take a gamble. In the past, before breaking through to the seven tribulations Zubing, he didn't think so much. But now that he had broken through, he didn't want to give up the opportunity to reach the 8 or 9 tribulations in the future. In fact, those who could become Zubing had never been greedy and afraid of death. Because Zubing was the combination of the faith of a clan and the supreme treasure that protected a clan. If even such a treasure was greedy and afraid of death, what qualifications did it have to protect a clan? Therefore, Godslayer's heart was not frightened. The reason why he didn't pass the tribulation was because he wasn't sure. There was no point in rashly doing something that was certain to die, perishing in the tribulation. It was better to wait for the demon abyss to come, kill a few demons, and then perish in the tribulation. In that way, it could be considered a worthy death. But now, Godslayer didn't think so. Since he could break through to the seven tribulations Zubing, it proved that he had the opportunity to break through to the 8 or 9 tribulations in the future. The higher the level of the breakthrough, the greater the impact he could play on the human race. Similarly, Following an expert like Qin Shujian, with the blessings and protection of the other party, his success rate of passing the tribulation would at least be increased by a lot. Although Fu Zhe said that there was no definite proof. But that didn't mean that it didn't exist. If his success rate of passing the tribulation was 10%, then following Qin Shujian would at least increase the success rate to 20% or 30%. How to choose? The god-slaying saber naturally understood. After receiving his answer, Qin Shujian nodded in satisfaction. Alright, since you've made up your mind, you can also absorb the energy from the remaining piece of the Beast Emperor's body. The energy required for the breakthrough of the 8th Tribulation Zubing was much greater than that of the 7th Tribulation Zubing. The remnant body of a half-step Dao fruit cultivator contains quite a bit of energy. At the very least, it's comparable to a few third-stage true immortals. The energy contained in the body of a half-step Dao fruit expert could be said to be boundless. It was only because the Beast Emperor had been whittled down by the massive heavenly cycle star formation earlier that he was weakened significantly. Even so, the Beast Emperor's remnant body was much more powerful than that of an upper 3 true immortal. The power contained within a mere fragment of his body was no less than that of a complete 9th heaven celestial. If it was converted to 7 or 8 times, it would at least be comparable to a few. The transition from the 7th tribulation to the 8th tribulation was naturally not something that the energy of a 9th heaven celestial could fill. However, as long as he absorbed the energy within it, he would need less energy to transcend the tribulation later. Hearing this, Godslayer did not refuse and directly flew toward the remaining fragment of the Beast Emperor's body. At this moment, the Beast Emperor's remnant body was being suppressed by Zhou Tian's star formation. When Zubing began to absorb the remnant body's power, Qin Shujian put away the star formation. The 7th Tribulation Zubing. It was already comparable to a 9th heaven celestial. Without the suppression of Zhou Tian's star formation, the Beast Emperor's remnant body intended to take this opportunity to regenerate, but it was immediately suppressed by Godslayer. Surging power. Bit by bit, it was extracted. The Beast Emperor's remnant body trembled violently. An indignant roar came from within, causing the void to crack. However, no matter how much power it unleashed, it was still unable to escape the desperate situation in front of it. As its power flowed away, the aura of the Beast Emperor's remnant body also gradually weakened. 3 days passed. The last wisp of power in the remnant body had been completely absorbed by Godslayer. After the power was completely absorbed, the consciousness of the Beast Emperor's remnant body finally completely disappeared. The disappearance of this consciousness. It meant that the Beast Emperor had completely fallen. In an instant, a sorrowful cry came from the void outside the realm. In the void that was dry and colorless, a rain of blood suddenly fell, as if mourning the passing of the Beast Emperor. The death of a half-step Dao fruit is already enough to trigger a universal phenomenon. Qin Shujian looked at the falling rain of blood with a calm expression. For the universe, even the death of a 9th heaven celestial powerhouse would not affect it at all. But a half-step Dao fruit was different. An existence at this level was a top powerhouse in any epoch. The number of Dao fruits that could be born in each epoch was very small, and there were also not many half-step Dao fruits. Therefore, after reaching this level, if one were to accidentally fall, even Huanyu would mourn for them. The rain of blood fell. In Qin Shujian's eyes, it was not only mourning for the Beast Emperor, but also a warning for him. Even existences as powerful as this could be killed by others. They could also fall because of this. His current strength was not at the point of being immortal and indestructible. This point, Qin Shujian was very clear in his heart. He was not someone who had climbed up from the bottom, but someone who had a reincarnation Dao fruit. Naturally, he understood that there was no such thing as immortality. Therefore, Qin Shujian also had strong requirements for himself. 9th Heaven Celestial is just the beginning. Half-step Dao fruit and even Dao fruit are also just the beginning. If I can't break the cage of my previous life, then I will never be able to escape the fate of death. If I want to live forever, I have to make a breakthrough. In the void outside the realm, a rain of blood fell. It was not just the void in front of Qin Shujian that was raining blood, but the entire void outside the realm was raining blood. Apart from the void outside the realm, even in the greater thousand worlds, there was a rain of blood falling. The entire universe. At this moment, it was all in mourning. Rain of blood. In the depths of the Dead Sea region, Yang woke up from his deep sleep and looked at the rain of blood falling from the sky. Even the rules of the sea region could not stop it. A sorrowful emotion surged from his heart. An ultimate expert has fallen. Yang sighed faintly. The indifference in his eyes had already disappeared and was replaced by a hint of melancholy. As the embodiment of the rules of heaven and earth, he was also connected to the rules of the universe. Now that the universe was mourning, Yang could also understand what had happened.
To be honest,
he did not expect that an existence of this level would fall. The last ultimate expert to fall was the Emperor of Heaven, Qin Song, 1,000,000 years ago. At that time, it was also raining blood, the rules were mourning, and all living beings were mourning.
It was just that it had been a long time.
Yang had been in a deep sleep all this time, and he had almost forgotten about these things. Until this scene appeared again. Only then did he unseal the dusty memories. Chapter 870. Blood rain fell from the sky. Did a perfected immortal fall? The living beings of the great wide world all looked up at the sky. A sense of sadness welled up in their hearts, but they were also very puzzled. The phenomenon of the heavenly general's blood rain had appeared before. Whenever a perfected immortal fell, there would be a rain of blood. However, in the past, the rain of blood was only limited to one clan. Moreover, if the perfected immortal of the clan did not fall, then the cultivators of the other clans would not sense it. The living beings of the great wide world all looked sorrowful when the rain of blood fell, which immediately attracted the attention of many people. Strange. Why would a rain of blood cover the 4 continents? Xiang, who was guarding the entrance of the passage, had a puzzled look in his eyes. With his strength, he could naturally sense that the place covered by the rain of blood was not as simple as a clan or a land. However, the problem was, there were no battles happening now, and no perfected immortal of any clan had fallen. The rain of blood that fell for no reason also caused Xiang to be shocked and puzzled. The heavenly court, the gods had returned. Almost all the immortals and gods, except for those in the extraterritorial battlefield, had returned to the heavenly court. When the rain of blood fell, even the heavenly court's array formation could not isolate the rain of blood. No matter how strong or weak the immortals and gods were, there was a lingering sadness in their hearts. Such a phenomenon. It immediately attracted the attention of the immortals and gods of the heavenly court. Many immortals and gods walked out of the hall and looked at the falling rain of blood. They were puzzled and shocked. In the past, when the rain of blood fell from the sky, a perfected immortal must have fallen. Now that the great wide world is peaceful, why would there be a rain of blood? That's right, and this rain of blood made me feel emotional. However, the perfected immortals of my clan are all alive, so why would I feel that way? Strange, it's really strange. The immortals and gods were very puzzled. The rain of blood from the sky could be big or small, especially now that the phenomenon covered a large area and there were other feelings. They instinctively felt that things were not simple. Immediately after, the dog emperor turned his head to look at Emperor Zhao. Emperor Zhongyuan is very knowledgeable. Do you know why this happened? I don't know either. Emperor Zhao shook his head slightly. He was knowledgeable, but he did not know everything. Right now, a rain of blood was falling. Zhao Huang rummaged through his memories, but he still couldn't figure out what had happened. Only Xiao Qingfeng, who was at the side, was in a daze. Soon he came back to his senses. Send a message to the battlefield outside the realm and ask if there's also a rain of blood in the outer realms. Xiao Qingfeng said anxiously. His strange behavior was immediately noticed by the other immortals. Emperor Zhao asked in confusion, "Could it be that the war god of the East Pole knows what is going on?" "I have some guesses, but I'm not completely sure." Xiao Qingfeng shook his head and continued, "The most important thing right now is to send someone to the extraterritorial battlefield and observe the situation." Hearing this, Emperor Zhao did not ask any further. Instead, he took out his communication jade talisman and was about to send the message. Just as he was about to send out the messaging jade talismans of the immortals and deities shuddered slightly. Immediately after, a message was transmitted to their minds from the jade talisman. The extraterritorial battlefield is also covered in blood rain. It was unknown who said this. Then, the other immortals and deities looked at Xiao Qingfeng again. Since he had asked if there was a rain of blood in the extraterritorial battlefield, it was obvious that he knew something. Now that there was indeed a rain of blood in the extraterritorial battlefield, it was time for him to give an answer. Seeing the confused looks of the other immortals and deities, Xiao Qingfeng pondered for a moment, then slowly said, "Actually, there are phenomena of a rain of blood in the Great Thousand World and the Outer Realms. It's not like it hasn't happened before. It happened in the Primordial Age and the Ancient Times as well. However, such phenomena only appear at the end of each era." At this point, Xiao Qingfeng saw that the other immortals and deities were still confused, so he explained even more simply. "Whenever a supreme expert dies in the world, the laws will mourn, and a rain of blood will fall from the sky. The so-called supreme experts are not as simple as ordinary perfected immortals. Even if a perfected immortal dies, there will be a rain of blood. For example, whether it's the Great Thousand World or the Outer Realms, the phenomenon of a rain of blood will only happen when a half-step Tao fruit existence dies. The first demon emperor of the Primordial Age and the emperor of heaven of the Ancient Times all had similar phenomena when they died."
Buzz.
Xiao Qingfeng's words made the hearts of all the immortals and deities tremble. The death of a half-step Tao fruit existence. They did not need to guess to understand the specific reason. Currently, in the entire universe, there were only a handful of experts who could attain the half-step Tao fruit realm. There was no need to mention the 2 forbidden lands in the Great Thousand World. In the eyes of the immortals and deities, the half-step Tao fruit existences that existed now were the Emperor of Heaven, Qin Shu Jian, and the supreme expert of the Star Beast clan. Instantly, an immortal deity exclaimed, "A half-step Tao fruit existence has died." Was the Star Beast killed by the Emperor of Heaven, or, towards the end, he no longer dared to speak? The other immortals and deities also looked confused. Anyone would be able to understand what the other party was implying. Since a half-step Tao fruit existence had died, there were only 2 possibilities. Either the Astral Beast or Qin Shu Jian would be the one to perish. In their eyes, they naturally hoped that the Star Beast had died, because if Qin Shu Jian had died, the heavenly court that they had painstakingly built would definitely be in a precarious situation. Although the 3 fiendish demon clans of the Void had been dealt with, the problem of the demon abyss had yet to be resolved. They had lost Qin Shu Jian. With the current strength of the heavenly court, there was no way they could contend against the demon abyss. Xiao Qingfeng shook his head. The one who died shouldn't be the Emperor of Heaven. With the Emperor of Heaven's means, even if he was no match for the Star Beast, there should be no problem for him to escape. It can be seen from the Emperor of Heaven's confidence that he could lead the Star Beast to the depths of the void. I think the one that truly died should be that Star Beast. He had great confidence in Qin Shu Jian. After all, the other party would never do anything that he was not confident of. If he was really no match for the Star Beast, there would definitely be no problem for him to retreat. Therefore, there was no possibility of the other party dying. Of course, if it was really Qin Shu Jian who had died, it was not impossible. However, this matter could not be spread before it was concluded. Otherwise, the hearts of the myriad races would be scattered. The strength of the human race had increased a lot. However, the strength of the myriad races had also increased by a lot. Without Qin Shu Jian, with the current strength of the human race, It was obviously extremely difficult to suppress the cultivators of the myriad races and maintain the order of the heavenly court. At this moment, the eyes of some immortals flickered, as if they were deep in thought. Some immortals and gods were completely relieved after hearing the explanation. Chapter 871. In the extraterritorial void. While the blood rain was pouring down, those ancient stars were also trembling violently. The star beasts sealed inside seemed to have sensed the fall of their emperor, so they woke up from their deep slumber one by one.
Boom.
Boom! The stars trembled violently, and a tyrannical aura was emitted from within. Everyone who sensed it could not help but feel their hearts palpitate. The stars are rioting. When the Thousand-Eye Emperor saw the rioting stars, there was only one thought in his mind. Something big has happened. Without any hesitation, he immediately sent this news back to the heavenly court. The stars were rioting for no reason. The Thousand-Eye Emperor could only think of the star beasts breaking out of their seals. He was not sure what had happened when the blood rain was pouring down, but now that the stars were rioting, it was definitely related to the blood rain. Strictly speaking, the reason for the star beasts rioting was no longer important. What was truly important was how the heavenly court would deal with the star beasts rioting. From the looks of the star beasts were attacking the seals of the stars and would break out of their seals soon. The weakest of the sleeping star beasts is at least a middle third heaven true immortal. If all the star beasts break out of their seals at the same time, then, hiss. When he thought of the scene of hundreds of star beasts being born at the same time, the Thousand-Eye Emperor could not help but gasp. More than 300 stars. Although dozens of stars had been destroyed by Qin Shu Jian, there were still more than 200 stars left. There was a star beast sealed in each star. The weakest was at least a fourth heaven true immortal, while the strongest was at least an upper third heaven true immortal. Taking a step back, even if there was not a single upper third heaven true immortal star beast in the remaining stars, more than 200 middle third heaven true immortal star beasts were enough to sweep through the entire heavenly court. With the heavenly court's current strength, unless the number of star beasts was divided by 10, there was no way they could fight back. After understanding the difference in strength between the two sides, the Thousand-Eye Emperor took a deep breath. It seems like it's time to give up on the extraterritorial battlefield. More than 200 star beasts with at least a fourth heaven true immortal. Even someone as strong as the Emperor of Heaven would not be able to deal with them. Such strength. Even Qin Shu Jian would not be able to deal with it. If they really could deal with it, they wouldn't have to destroy the stars one by one, and then kill the astral beasts one by one. They could have just destroyed all the stars, and then killed all the astral beasts in one go. The reason why he did this, in the end, it was because he was not strong enough. The news was sent back. The immortals and gods of the heavenly court also received it immediately. There are strange movements in the ancient stars in the outer space. It seems that star beasts have awakened and are attacking the stars themselves. This matter cannot be delayed. We must find a solution as soon as possible. After receiving the news, Emperor Shao looked at the deities and spoke in a deep voice. Hearing this, the expressions of all the immortals and deities immediately turned grave. Shao Qingfeng said, not long after the blood rain disappeared, the stars started to move. It seems that my guess was right. The one that died was indeed the star beast that was half a step away from the Dao fruit realm. Otherwise, the other astral beasts would not have acted so strangely. I'm afraid that the star beast that died had an extraordinary status. It's very possible that it was the ruler of the star beast clan. Only sovereigns had fallen. That was why it caused such a huge commotion. At first, Shao Qingfeng did not dare to be 100% sure whether it was Qin Shu Jian or the star beast that had died. But now it seemed. He was absolutely sure that the star beast was the one that had died. The strange movements of the stars were enough to explain everything. The dog emperor nodded. Indeed. It's good news that the Emperor of Heaven is still alive due to the strange movements in the stars. However, the Emperor of Heaven is still alive, but he hasn't returned for the time being. Something might have happened. Or he might be on his way to the outer space battlefield, but there's no way for him to arrive immediately. Now, no one can guarantee when the Star Beast will completely break out of its seal. We must prepare as soon as possible. Once the Star Beast is completely born, we will definitely suffer heavy losses if we don't have the corresponding measures. The Star Beast clan is powerful. I suggest that we retreat first. The Dog Emperor thought for a moment and then added, more than 200 Star Beasts that were at least 3 middle true immortals were not something that the current Heavenly Court could contend with. Once the battle started, the Heavenly Court's losses would be huge. Moreover, even if the battle started, there was no hope of victory. Seeing that no one spoke, the Dog Emperor continued, you should know the strength of the Star Beasts. There are more than 200 stars outside, even if each star only has 1/4 true immortal Star Beast. Then all the Star Beasts that have broken out of their seals are equivalent to more than 200 middle true immortals. How many middle true immortals do we have? At most, we only have a little more than 10. Even if we invite those 2 out, the upper 3 true immortals are not really invincible. Once there are too many Star Beasts, there's also the risk of dying. Compared to the Star Beast clan, we don't have the capital to start a war. When the other immortals heard this, they nodded slightly. They didn't want to start a war with the Star Beast clan, because there was no need. It was different from the Void Demons. The Void Demons were bent on attacking the Great Thousand World. If the demonic abyss started a war with the Great Thousand World, then the Void Demons might attack from behind, or they might even join forces with the demonic abyss to attack together. However, the Star Beasts were different. Although the Star Beasts in the stars had been sleeping, seriously speaking, the Star Beast clan Star Beasts were not only sleeping Star Beasts, but also many active Star Beasts. It was just that as time passed, the Star Beasts wandering outside gradually became extinct. However, from the inheritance of the various clans, the Star Beasts were actually not much of a threat to the Great Thousand World. Star Beasts and demonic beasts were not much different apart from strength. It was easy for powerhouses to control demonic beasts, but it was impossible for them to control Star Beasts. In this way, it was destined that the Star Beasts would not be used by other existences and then become a threat to the myriad clans. Even if they gave up the extraterritorial battlefield and allowed the Star Beasts to wander in the void, they might still be able to obstruct the demonic abyss when they approached in the future. No matter how one looked at it, there was no need for the Heavenly Court to fight to the death with the Star Beast clan. However, although this was what they thought, the real decision was not something that ordinary immortals could make. They all looked at the imperial emperors of the 5 directions. The Emperor of Heaven was not here, so only the imperial emperors of the 5 directions could make the decision. Emperor Zhao pondered for a moment. Imperial Emperor Nanyan's words are not without reason, but the Heavenly Court swept through the extraterritorial void and wiped out the Void Demons. Our power is unparalleled for now. If we flee from the Star Beast clan without fighting, it will inevitably lose our prestige. Why don't we fight first? If we really can't do it, then we'll give up on the extraterritorial battlefield. After he finished speaking, Emperor Zhao paused for a moment. Now, we can arrange for the other myriad clans cultivators in the extraterritorial battlefield to be ready to retreat to the Great Thousand World at any time. The remaining immortals and gods of the Heavenly Court will focus on fighting. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.